It's like I can't walk on the ceiling. Oh yeah, got me dreaming, dreaming in colors I never dreamed in. Oh yeah, I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Filling up with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh, magic. No, I'm never letting go. Now that I have it with you. When you kiss me, it's like the stars fall out the sky onto my heart to cover up what I don't wanna show. I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Filling up with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, yeah, you take me higher, baby.
Welcome to Radical Truth to Power, the Progressive News Show with Let's Be History. I am your host, Marlon, along with Theas, and the ladies will be on later on tonight. As you can see from the title, it's yet another Reddit story, but it's focused on law enforcement and potentially how they act during an open case, especially when it comes to questioning somebody who may be potentially a part of it. And I'm being nice saying that, but really the story is how they question people who they're just throwing questions out there, um, using the lack of understanding police procedures when it comes to holding a potential all over the place with this thing. Potentially questioning somebody who may be involved in a criminal case, open criminal case. But I just wanted to play this video because it's to me it's old. Like I've heard this a long time ago, but then I thought, but you know what? This may open people's eyes to something we haven't talked about in quite some time, and that's the law enforcement in America. So, like always, if there's something that I can show on this video that can at least help one person, I'm willing to play the video and discuss it with Brother Theas. So that's what I'm gonna do. Theas, how's everything going with you? I'm so glad that you decided to agree with me about I can't say out loud what we're doing because it's a surprise for everybody. But I'm glad that you agreed that we was gonna stop on Friday and not continue again until Monday.
And I have held to that. I
Good.
have held to that. It was hard. I
Good,
thought
man.
about it today. But yeah, yeah. But I appreciate you for even bringing it up and encouraging me to participate because it has truly just been to my benefit, even just this short, window of time. So thank you so much for that. Um, but no, I'm doing great, man. So my best friend from high school just swung by the house today, so he got to see the kids. He ain't seen the kids in some years, so so they got a chance to see their Uncle Zay. Um, Yesterday we had our first core social event. So a couple of the guys got together at a local eatery, and we're just chopping it up, talking about what I'm going to be doing with core and what's the next steps and different ideas on how to even approach it. Man, I learned some really cool things. Just crossing minds with people, which is one of the reasons I wanted this thing to happen. So now I'm riding high today, man. I'm feeling good.
Well, good. I'm glad. I can't wait to highlight that as much as I possibly can on this show. And I really like the idea that you're actually beginning to do something that you not only enjoy doing, but is very beneficial to the community.
I
So
really do believe it will be, and I really hope so. One of my things though is that means I have to figure out how to, to talk to people, right? Like you are so gracious in giving me the opportunity to just run my mouth and talk and stuff like that. But like when it's time for me to just turn on the camera and do it by myself, yeah, I'm not doing it because I'm like, how, like, okay, take 12, right? I just
yeah,
like, I don't want to do it.
it'll grow on you. Trust me, believe me. Um, Anna's trying to come on, but we're buffering. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this party started. So let's go ahead and get into the first video. It's one of four. It's the same story, however, but it's one of four. And the first video is just an introduction, basically telling you the background of what the reasoning is going forward from video 2 through 4. And so I'm literally all over the place today. Forgive me. Trust me, for people who may be watching for the first time ever, I'm not a bitter idiot. My mind is just all over the place today. But just so I can stop sounding like a bitter idiot, the first video is an introduction into the rest of the story. So here we go.
I never thought that my job as a pizza delivery guy was low risk, but I also never imagined that it would potentially get me thrown in jail. We had a pretty sketchy delivery call at a late hour. Our restaurant is constantly slammed with everyone desperate to eat at a table now that the vaccine's out, so I grabbed the phone. Before I could even finish my standard greeting, the guy just goes, "Yeah, it's Mac. I'm ordering a pizza." I'm not much for small talk either, so I just roll with it and say, "Good for you, Mac. Pick up or delivery?" I'm just rattling off the standard questions. He answered the first few questions, but he seemed hesitant or confused. Over the phone, I could hear him argue with someone else. Then he got back on the line and kept ordering like normal, as if none of the preceding conversation had ever happened. Whatever. I got his delivery order and hit it out. It was a standard large pizza. No toppings, no extras. They were gonna pay cash. I pull up, and it's a scary, run-down, sparsely populated apartment complex. It was mostly populated by broke college students, so I wasn't too concerned or anything. I knock on the front door, and they open the door just a tiny bit. I called in, "Hey, pizza!" There was no response, so I called a little louder. "Got your pizza out here." Then an alarmed voice from inside said, "Shh, just come in." No. Weirdly, I get that request a lot. Everyone from sketchy apartment dudes to suburban soccer moms ask me to bring the pizza to the dinner table because they're too busy. Some people even tried to pull this during the pandemic. But it's a long-standing company policy, and a good one, that entering the home for any reason whatsoever is a hard no. So I said, can't do that. However, I can leave it out here if you don't want to come to the door. I just need payment first. There was silence, and then some shuffling, and then the door shut and locked. The guy was like, "What do you mean payment first? That's not what we agreed on." He's talking to me through the closed front door. I was standing there wondering if this was the first pizza this guy had ever ordered in his life, because payment first is basically implied, right? But I'm not looking for any kind of confrontation or trying to be a butthole, so I just say, "Yeah, so our store policy is payment first." And then this guy erupts, screaming, "That's not what Mario and I discussed!" So then I thought that maybe he was trying to pull some kind of scam on us, because nobody at our store is named Mario, and I'm the one who took his order, so I know what was discussed. I decided that if they weren't going to pay, I had already made a reasonable attempt to deliver and I could safely head out now. As I'm preparing to do so, another guy, and looking back now, I realized that he didn't even have a pizza box, walked very confidently up to the door, pounded on it like a heavy bag, and said, "Pizza's here." I don't know if the dude in the apartment had ordered 2 identical pizzas from different shops, or if our pizza had taken so long that he thought that we weren't coming so he called someone else. Or maybe I just had the wrong apartment, but overall it was just so weird that I decided to go. Especially because pizza guy number 2 was looking at me with a really intense stare. Apparently this guy was really trying to defend his pizza delivery turf. He said something like, "Can I help you?" or "Wrong apartment." I went back to the restaurant and told the story to the chef. We just laughed, and then we wondered what could have driven this man to order 2 pizzas at once, and I didn't think about it for several weeks.
Okay. So, then hello.
Hey, Anna.
Hello.
So, I know the first thing people are going to say, so let me just put words in anybody's mouth, but first thing that popped in my head, so come on, dude. Streetwise would have told you something is not on the up and up. I mean, if this was a relationship, it was like 50 red flags just in this 3-minute video. Like red flag behind a red flag, behind a bigger red flag. And you just like, oh, well, now that I think about it, well, now hindsight being 2020. I have to say something though. Street knowledge is not knowledge. There's a certain upbringing, and then there are certain people who do have that knowledge off the top of their head. They don't have to live in the streets or in the hood or all this other stuff. There's just some people who just like, hey, this ain't making a... But not everybody has those qualities. Not everybody.
I guess, but I was confused.
They should. What was you confused about?
I mean, you took the order and you the delivery driver. Hi, Tracy.
Hey, Tracy.
And then you're in a sketch neighborhood and you about to get into a pizza battle with the other pizza guy who didn't even have a pizza. From the way I heard, like, he didn't have a pizza box. So, I mean, I'm just confused.
I'm confused.
Is he high? Is he the high one?
But remember, he was saying in hindsight, I remember now that he didn't even have a pizza box. But it was like, so in the heat of the moment, it's like, okay, for me, I'm just looking like, yeah, I'm ordering pizza. Okay, good. What type you want? Okay, red flag number 1. What's with the conversation in the background? Now that may be
People talk.
Like saying, well, what kind of wait a minute, what kind of pizza did you want? Okay, now we at the door. Now you shushing me at the door and talking about just come on in. Wait a minute, why are you shushing me, dude? It's just a pizza. You ain't supposed to have pizza? What is the problem? Just come in. No. Not after you just shush me at the door. Now you looking kind of sus, bro. Then you want to argue with me about that ain't what yelling. That ain't what me and Marco discussed. What the heck is Marco? bruh. Okay, see me and this, and probably Tracy and Anna too. Okay, at this point, yeah, I'm finna turn around. This ain't sounding right. See y'all later. Y'all call the store. Oh, and by the way, when I mean turn around and walk away, I mean I'm literally facing you as I'm walking backwards. Like I'm not turning my back on you. So I would have never saw the second piece of God because after the yelling and screaming and the Marco thing, I'm jet. This ain't looking right. I'd rather be in trouble at work than
So apparently you've never worked at a pizza place.
or any delivery situation.
Yeah, because I have. I actually worked for a pizza delivery, and that's the number one thing we're talking. You do not, if you don't feel comfortable. First of all, you never are to go into anybody's house. I don't care if they invite you in. I don't care if they're sober. I don't care if they're not sober. I don't care if they're how drunk. You do not ever, 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 ever go into somebody's house. Secondly, when they
Unless
come, no, there's no
unless she's
unless.
really pretty and she's just wearing a towel and it's a video camera, then
Why would I
because
go
you
into
might
that woman's
be
house?
well, you might not go, but I'm just saying I've been seeing some theatrical representations where that happens, and like maybe it's real, maybe it can happen, maybe.
No, it does. You are never to go into anybody's house ever.
welcome back,
And when
Diz.
you call in an order for pizza, they take the payment before they make the delivery. So what is he? What?
Well, you can pay
Depending on
Not
cash
every
on delivery.
time.
how old the story is, that you used to be able to pay for your delivery at the door with
I
a
used
check
to.
and cash. Yeah.
Yeah, you can still do cash on delivery now. I don't think they really like you to,
Yeah,
but
because every place I order from now, I know when I was working, we never took cash, ever took cash. Even if only way we took cash is if you walked into the place and ordered it.
Mhm.
But
oh,
you,
Wow.
but
see,
you,
I've never tried to pay cash, not no recent history. I
Right.
haven't tried to pay cash.
and
Like when
was
I
this
order, I
Little
go ahead and
Caesars
pay. But
pizza? Because you can't. Well, they don't even deliver. Well, they used to didn't deliver. They delivered. But no, you don't.
Pizza, pizza.
You don't go into somebody's house. No,
It is one of
no,
the rules. My
no.
brother
That's
works
like
at a Pizza Hut.
number one rule as a driver, which is why I stopped driving.
Mhm.
No, you know how many offers from crazy dudes? I got come in the house. No, no,
come
sir.
on, have a slice. You'll never
Yeah,
make it out again.
Uh-huh.
You're
nope.
family now.
I mean, yeah. Mm.
And if I felt unsafe going to a place, I'm not taking it. Nope, fire me now, thank you, because I'm not doing it. Nope.
Well, I had a lengthy career as a Domino's delivery driver. I worked for approximately 2 days, and no one ever invited me into the house. I guess
Man, too
and
late.
no one ever answered the door in the towel. Right, I never
I have,
got the person in the towel. It never happened for me. So just saying, maybe for you out there, you'll get the beautiful woman with the towel. But ladies, it's just
Please
I
don't
think it's
invite
dangerous
me.
anyway for ladies to be delivering. Well, period, because they come from men nowadays too. It's just dangerous to do it.
and then we couldn't carry weapons. We could not
We weren't
carry
supposed
weapons.
to.
No, we were not supposed to carry weapons. Now,
If
as
I'm
a
your
young,
delivery driver, just saying.
yeah, that's what. Why do you think I think I was a driver for like 2 years.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Parker,
Yeah,
I guarantee you they have no idea who Agatha Harkness dungeon is. So
Yeah, I don't know.
What?
yeah, Agatha
Is that a
Harkness
book?
is the Scarlet Witch. Um,
I've heard of that. I haven't read that though.
Like Marvel?
yes,
She kept people in the basement?
Agatha Harkness had a dungeon. Yeah, she didn't keep people down there. That was her lair, I guess you could say.
She lived in a dungeon? Why have a dungeon if you don't have hostages? You must
You
have
have
captives.
your own
no,
playroom.
you can have a set. Well, shut up, Tracy. Shut up. See, this what happened when you go to.
Well, you can have one of them freaky deaky dungeons, but you still need to have some company. Be freaky deaky by yourself in a dungeon? No, now you're just freaky deaky in a dark cellar.
Yes, you need a moment. This is not the second story. You don't went to that.
It's the only story. I'm just saying. There's things. There's things. I done seen things. Not me personally, but some theatrical representations.
And theatrical representations are normally false.
Yes.
Yes, let's please, for the love of everything.
I've
let's
had
move on to
men
the next
show
story.
Inspired by true stories.
I had a man show up
Inspired by, but
that he was like,
man
he
done
gave me
so
a
wrong.
he gave me $150 tip. That man was so hot. I'm like, dude,
Ooh,
like
thank
I'm
cash.
gonna deliver him pizza. I'll be back 2 hours later with the
I
pizza
was
saying,
delivered-
"Here's the pizza you ordered, sir."
I was like, sir, are you sure? No, I've even tried to give it back because I'm
Really?
yes, because $150. No, it was 100. It was 100. I was like, you
Some
can't mean this. You can't
So
mean
obviously he
this.
took the time to count it, folks.
No, he gave me $100
$100
bill.
bill?
Oh,
Okay, if he had a
it was
$100
fake anyway. It was
bill,
No, it was not fake because I ended up taking it.
fake.
He was like,
Wait.
well, he was
he
like,
could
I want
he
you
could
to
afford
take
it.
He was no, Anna. He was high.
Okay,
Higher
well,
than a-
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Y'all go act like y'all gonna just breeze through what Tracy said. No, it wasn't fake because you took it.
No. I
By
took
your
it back.
glorious
No,
hand, all of a sudden it's real.
no. What the
Yeah.
reason
If
At
I
he
some
was
know?
point, it
able
went
to
from
use
"I'm not
it,
taking it" to "Thank you very
No,
much, sir."
because when you get bills that high, you carry like a yellow highlighter and you stroke it,
Oh, okay.
and then you
Yeah.
hold it up to the light and be like, oh, well, this is real.
So you standing outside on the porch with the black pen, you'd be
can
like,
I see the
Yellow
little strip?
"Sir,
highlighter.
this turned the wrong color. I can't take this one. But ooh, this looks good. I'll take this one." Wait
It
a
was
minute.
real. I
Why are
took
you
it.
holding? Is that smells funny? Not-
He was. I mean, I've seen people high, but never that high.
Meanwhile,
High
everybody,
people are interesting.
while the next door neighbor's door started opening up and people peeking through the curtains.
He's
Go
like,
on.
you so pretty. I'm like, okay, this is just $100. It don't mean nothing.
Mm.
It don't mean
This is your tip for the pizza.
pizza. Not for me, but pizza.
You decided that.
And I needed a battery.
Nah, my battery low. I ain't delivering nothing. But see now, the time that I delivered pizza was back in the day of. It was before MapQuest. It was
Yep.
when I was fresh out of college. So you went to the big board on the wall that had your local area map, and you wrote down street by street where you supposed to be turning
Oh,
to
no.
get to this peaceful house. And it was dark, and there was no GPS, and I got lost each of the 2 days I was working. I came back mid shift day 2, and with the pizza, brought the pizza back, and I was like, "Yeah, I can't do this."
I'm out.
It's not for everybody. It is not.
No.
That's why when you
Those
order
days of
pizza, you need to
MapQuest.
tip very generously.
But when you need a job,
So do.
there's no this is too dangerous. I need to survive.
Which is why you have so many Uber Eats and stuff like that drivers.
All right,
Folks
everybody.
ain't doing that because they just want them.
Story goes.
So that was the entirety of the story. Just
No, that was the introduction.
okay.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and get into the second story real quick.
I got some
Then, a
pepper.
couple of weeks later, I was working in the restaurant and a couple of cops walked in. They weren't in uniform, but they had badges. They asked if I'd been at such and such apartment complex on such and such day, and I was like, that was weeks ago. I have no idea where I was. So they were like, in that case, you wouldn't mind coming down to talk to us about what you do remember. But I was like, really? I have no idea. And they said, well, that's fine. Let's talk anyways and see if there's something you might not realize is relevant that comes back to you. And they said all this other stuff too, just prodding me. I said that I'm working right now, but maybe I can come later next week. These cops were really insistent, which, in hindsight, should have set off some red flags. They were like, well, this is a really pressing matter, and we'd appreciate it if you came in right now. We'll explain it to your boss so there won't be any problems. You'll really be helping us out. Them not being able to talk to me while I was at work should have been the first red flag. But I knew that I'd done nothing illegal, so it didn't cross my mind that I had no reason to worry. Especially since, when I got to the police precinct, everyone was extremely friendly, like I was actually doing them a favor. They didn't throw me in a cell or try to intimidate me or anything. They brought me into a nice, air-conditioned conference room and gave me a comfortable chair and asked if I wanted anything to drink and really just kind of chatted with me for about 20 or 30 minutes. To this day, I'm still confused about this. I think they even offered to order food, if I remember correctly. I declined their offers because I was anxious to get back to my shift. I didn't need my coworkers getting the wrong ideas. I played along and made nice because they did get the okay from my boss to be away for as long as I needed, but in the back of my mind I was like, didn't you say that this was urgent? We're short-staffed at work, so why are these cops talking to me about basketball? Eventually though, and I think that they were trying to be subtle, but they definitely weren't, they shifted to asking me about what they really brought me in to talk about. They asked me if I'd made a delivery to a certain apartment complex, and by then I'd had time to think and remember, so I told them that yeah, I had. I said that I wasn't sure what the exact day was, but it was sometime around then. But then, instead of asking any of the questions that I expected them to ask, they said, "And how long had you known the guys that you were delivering to?" Kinda confused, I responded, "I don't." I could see that my answer disappointed them, but it was the truth. They collected themselves pretty quickly though. These two detectives were the same two guys who came into the store earlier. One of the cops kept insisting on the facts as he saw them, and the other kept trying to bend things in my favor. So the cop who kept trying to bend things in my favor was like, "Okay, sure. Not like y'all are best friends or anything, but you at least knew them as customers, right?" I wasn't sure what "knew them as customers" was supposed to mean, because to me, it was synonymous with not knowing them. So I said no. They changed topics. They asked how long the delivery had been planned for. I told them everything had to be ordered the same day unless it was 4 or more pies, and I don't remember exactly when they called. But as per store policy, it wouldn't have been more than an hour before it was delivered. Probably even sooner based on how close they were to the store. We went back and forth like this for way longer than I was anticipating. Them asking me questions that seemed to imply that I knew something, and me feeling super confused and giving them visibly disappointing answers. I just kept reminding them that I knew nothing.
Never talk to the police, boys and girls.
Especially on your own accord. As okay, can you come down and talk to? No.
No.
I will not.
Am I under arrest?
Am
sir?
I under
Am I
arrest?
being detained?
Am I
I'm
being
talking to like a lawyer. Thank you.
Am I being detained? And blah blah blah.
I'm on a
Now we
lawyer.
go from okay. Now am I being?
Am I free to go?
Am I free to go?
Those are the 3 things you get out of me. Am I under arrest? Because that lets me know if I need a lawyer. Am I being detained? That lets me know if I still got to sit here and deal with you. Am I free to go? Because one of these 3 got to be real, right? So if I'm under arrest, you got to tell me, right? You don't have to. You don't have to give me my Miranda rights anymore.
Right.
Thanks, Supreme Court. But you do have to tell me if I'm under arrest if I ask you.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you tell me, no, you're not under arrest, we just want to talk. Well, am I being detained?
Yep.
Right?
Can't
And
you
it's
talk
like,
here? Why I gotta go
Yeah,
down to
I'm
the
like-
station to talk to you?
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm not coming to the state. You're going to have to arrest me to get me to the station.
Yeah.
So,
So you won't
Huh?
have. So you won't have a problem coming down to the station. I actually do. I'm not coming.
Yeah, I'm not
Hopefully
coming.
expect me to. So I'm just gonna let you know if you was waiting on me, you can go to lunch. I'm not coming to the station.
which is why you need to have a lawyer. Like, legit, because one, the police are allowed to lie to you. It's established fact. That's what they can do. They can lie. They're allowed to. 2, they can detain you. If they can build a probable reason of suspicion or whatever their low bar is, they can detain you without arresting you, and you still have to deal with them, right? So you have, if they tell you Yeah, I'm not a lawyer, y'all. Not a lawyer. Look it up yourself. Talk to a lawyer. Get you a family friend, something like that. But they tell you that you detained. Now you got to deal with them. You can ask for, why, um, and then ask if you're free to go. But don't engage in small talk with them. Like if you let's just say you standing in line at my favorite spot, Chipotle, and they in line too, and they say hi to you, you say hey. That's it. Hey, I ain't no small talk. I don't want to know nothing about nothing. Like, how was your day? we not doing this, man. So get your food.
Keep it pushing. All right, let's go to part 3 where it gets a little deeper.
Eventually, they seemed pretty frustrated and they were like, "Stop lying to us, man. Cut the garbage. Your friends rolled on you. It's done." And I'm just sitting here thinking, I have friends? But of course, in all seriousness, I was shocked by the change of tone because I had no clue what they were talking about. And I told them so. They were both like, "Come on, man, you're just embarrassing yourself at this point." One of the cops kept reassuring me that if I just told them what I knew, they could still help me, and the other was saying that I was too stupid to seize this last chance. Well, there was no reason for me to sit around and be spoken to like that, so I got up to leave. Before I knew what was happening, they started arresting me. It was like a horror movie nightmare playing out in slow motion in front of my own eyes. So at this point, I completely lost my cool. I kept really forcefully insisting that I didn't even know what they were talking about, like I'd been saying all along. They weren't having any of it. They kept saying, "Videotape doesn't lie, man. You want to see the tape before you lock yourself into another lie? The jury's gonna eat this up." Jury? I nearly wet myself. I don't even turn right on red lights half the time. I said, "You had video all this time and you're grilling me to remember what happened and you could have just shown me a video? What the F?" At this point, I knew that I was in over my head. A million thoughts were swirling around, and I was so overwhelmed and scared. I finally said what I should have said way back at the beginning. I said, "Should I be talking to a lawyer?" And they said, "Do you want to talk to a lawyer? Did you do something that would necessitate the aid of an attorney?" And the other guy was like, "If you want a lawyer, we'll get you one, but I have to say, that does not look good for you." And I shouldn't have believed him, because my dad has now drilled into my brain that you never talk to the cops, only your lawyer does. But at the time I thought, yeah, I guess asking for a lawyer does make it seem like I did something wrong. Then the cops showed me their video and there were timestamps and they're saying all this stuff and it was really a blur at that point. But one thing in particular stood out. They said something they'd already said a time or two before, but it hadn't totally sunken in until then. They said, "Your buddies thought this would be some quick money. They thought that it'd be real slick to order a pizza instead of just calling and saying to bring the stuff up. And that it wouldn't be suspicious if we wouldn't follow up. I know you're a good guy. You didn't know what you were getting yourself into. But if you're not honest with us, then we can't help you." I had told these cops repeatedly about the other guy who showed up to supposedly deliver a pizza. I even pointed the guy out on the footage. Unfortunately, the cameras didn't have audio, so they couldn't hear me arguing with the people in the apartment, or more importantly, hear the other guy say, "Pizza." Because the other guy didn't have a pizza box, and I did, they didn't believe me that I wasn't the pizza part of the operation. So to recap, apparently the cops had learned that the criminals in the apartment were supposed to get a shipment of money from some guy disguised as a pizza delivery driver. The guys inside the apartment were told something like, "That afternoon, you'll get a pizza." These absolute morons in the apartment didn't understand the instructions and actually ordered a real pizza instead of just waiting for their cash delivery to show up. Looking back, when I heard that guy argue over the phone, I'm pretty sure he was saying, "Are you sure you're supposed to order an actual pizza?" Because what else would they have been arguing about right then? So once I connected all the dots, it was simply a matter of proving that my pizza delivery was legitimate.
This is me guessing, okay? I'm not remotely going to try to say this is a fact. This is me guessing why the cops are acting like this.
Because they're cops.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's go a little deeper. This They can't find the other guy, i.e., the other pizza delivery person that didn't even have a pizza to begin with, but whatever. They can't find him. They can find this pizza delivery person because, and this is a part where Theus is absolutely correct because they're cops. We know where to find him. So let's go ahead and get the easier fish and see if we can flip him for the bigger fish. They're just shooting questions out there. They don't know if this guy's involved or not. But their whole thought process is to close this case at this point, not justice. Justice is we got somebody. If his may not be the person that had something to do with absolutely nothing. That's not their point. They close the case. They know where to find this guy. They can't find the others. Believe me when I tell you, if the other guys have already done flipped on them, they're not being this cruel and unusual and all this questioning and cussing them out and arresting and everything else. You already got witnesses that said he did it. What's the questioning about? I got 3 guys? Yeah, 3 guys, at least in the story, that said you was a part of it. We ain't finna question you. We got 3 witnesses that said you was part of it. They don't. But they have you. We live in a country where it is more profitable, promotions and things like that, to close a case than to get justice. That's what it's going to look like on their resumes when it's time for promotions and everything else. How many cases did you close? Not one part of that questionnaire is going to say, did you get the right man? Did you get a conviction? No, they're just going to say they closed the case. And if that means throwing you under the bus and destroying your life, oh well. I thought I had the right person. And besides, by the time they figure out that you are not the person involved in it, what's that? 5, 10, 15, 20 years gone?
Your life is already messed up. Like, what people, say, like, and, any law enforcement people or family or law enforcement say, "Oh, you're just cop bashing." Come on, man. Tell me where I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? Police got their primary objective is to secure the peace, as they say. They are not trying to figure out who's right or who's wrong or solve nothing. That's not the job. Okay? They are to secure evidence, protect the public. That's it. So they are out to arrest you. So they will arrest you, and then the system, in theory, the next leg is supposed to do the proving and the exonerating. It's not on the police officer
Nope.
to do that, right? Their job is to get you in the queue. Okay, and then the detective is supposed to either get the case in such a position where they can hand it off to the prosecutor, or the detective is supposed to go try to figure out if they can build a case to get to the prosecutor. That's their job. Then you go into the court system and they do their stuff. So it's like it's a conveyor belt where no one has any responsibility for anything that happened before them. So it makes it really easy for them to operate with blinders on, right? I didn't ruin your life. The system ruined your life. You shouldn't have put yourself in a bad position, or I never would have had to interact with you, right? That's their viewpoint. So for those out there who don't know, man, YouTube is a wealth of information. Google's a wealth of information. Start to learn for yourself how to defend yourself in these circumstances as best as you can. And the first rule is you don't talk to the cops, And if they say, well, this person turned on you and that person turned on you, we have this and we have that. First of all of that stuff is about a case. So you have to prove that in the case no matter what we do here. All right, unless we get into a plea bargain, and that's not your job either. So I don't care what you have. Nothing you have matters to me while we're talking. Nothing. Okay. So get a lawyer, even if it's a public defender that they paid for you. Get a lawyer. Get somebody who knows how to navigate better than you do, and then get through that moment. And if you can get the money to get a better lawyer, then do so. But anything you say to them, man, and then you're talking to them. We have documented occasions, a lot of them, where police officers have been caught falsifying documents,
Yeah.
losing evidence, misplacing evidence, corrupting evidence, all of these things, because they're human. Human things happen. But given that that's the fact, it is still beyond it to me that these same enforcement agencies are treated as gospel when they go and they show up in that uniform at your trial. So that means their flawed memory, because they deal with how many calls, how many cases in a day, a week, a month. And here you are 3 months later, they show up at your trial saying, oh, he did this, he said that. They're just making up stuff or trying to remember or misremembering, but it doesn't matter. It's a fact at that moment. So your best bet is you don't say nothing to them.
Did anybody else wonder if he went through the program DARE in school?
That was our thing, right? Don't do drugs, just say no.
Police would come into school from the time I remember in middle school. It was junior high for me, but the cops, they get you when you're young. They get you to think that, oh, they're these heroes of the community. They're keeping you safe. And yes, everything that Theus has laid out, everything that we have ever said, you can look back along a lot of videos now. They have an angle. And, we saw play out the good cop, bad cop scenario.
Yep.
He trusted them very naively in the beginning because he rightfully said, I have nothing to hide, so why wouldn't I? And it reminded me of those officers who come to the school and they're like, they say to you, when you are knee-high to a grasshopper, you don't have anything to fear from us.
We're here to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Officer friendly. That's funny because you bring that up. Coming up in the 90s, well, I guess it started in the 80s because that's how old I am. But
Yeah.
like it was nothing for the police to come and you got to see the police car and all this stuff. And you, as a kid, I don't know what they did with them. I have my suspicions. But as a kid, it was fun to do fingerprints. So you legit were giving up fingerprints when you 8, 9 years old.
They used to have a program in my school. Now that you say that, Theus. Oh my!
Maybe they threw them away, but I'm just thinking that's a lot of information that they wouldn't, Program
in my school, they used to take your fingerprint. You pay for it now, mind you. Let's go ahead and start that off. It was a anti-kidnapping program where they would take your fingerprint and then you have to pay for this special necklace. So just in case you get lost, that necklace had your address.
I remember that. That was different though. Yeah.
It was
the necklace you pay for. The fingerprint was free.
But
I don't remember that, but I remember we had the fingerprint thing going down, and that was messed up. because it was
I
nothing
can't
to
believe
us. We
I
were
didn't put
kids.
those two
So you
together.
had that happening, and then just like remember, at that time they were teaching you about like health, like general health. So you'd have
Right.
like the dentist that would come and they give you that nasty red pill, and we'd all laugh at each other for however whoever's teeth was the reddest and all that stuff. It was really
Mhm.
marketing so that you could tell your parents and you can go to that dentist to get services going forward. But we didn't look at it like that. It was just part of being a kid.
Right.
Police did their thing, firefighters did their thing, right?
Right.
Out of all of them, the only one that's got them dirty deeds is the cops, because those are the ones that you mess up. 10 years from now, that 7-year-old is 17,
Yeah.
and that relationship ain't the same.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about the fingerprints.
I,
All right, let's go ahead and get to the last video because it's
He
less
sues
than
them
2
for
minutes
$1 million.
long.
oh,
Say what?
Never mind.
Let's go ahead and get to the next video.
They tried to get a record of the delivery when they talked to my boss, but we're a small restaurant. We only keep tickets for about 1 week, and we just signed a piece of paper confirming our tip amount every night. So I wouldn't have had a record of this delivery since the guys never paid me. I didn't have anyone but the criminals to corroborate my story, and there was nothing in it for them to exonerate me, or they would have done it by now. But then I remembered, the chef! I told him all about this delivery. I begged the cops to talk to him. Sure enough, the chef corroborated my story. The cops went through our phone logs, but these guys had called in their order from a burner, so that was of no help. I figured the chef would be enough, but after I'd been at that precinct for nearly 8 hours total, they said that they were going to hold me until they could verify that I didn't go in with a decoy pizza and somehow give them money another way, or until they found the real delivery guy. Finally, after realizing that this was not a misunderstanding that wasn't going to go away, all those years of watching Law & Order kicked in and I asked for my phone call. I called my dad, and he of course said don't say another word, and he showed up with an attorney who had me out within an hour of his arrival. I was formally cleared of all involvement the next day, and I barely even got an apology. None of this is going to show up on my record or anything, but still, you'd think that they'd be a little more remorseful about what they put me through. Once my boss realized how serious this was, he gave me a couple of days of paid vacation. Honestly, I think that he was just glad that I wasn't some embezzler or serial murderer or otherwise a criminal. Because for the longest time, all they would tell my boss is that I was involved in some kind of situation and they needed my information. So yeah, tread lightly. Being a pizza delivery guy isn't an amazing job, but at least it's not being a cash mule for some kind of crime syndicate.
I'm going to guess that this young man is not of African American or Hispanic descent.
You think?
mm-hmm.
Just a guess.
Yeah, most pizza delivery guys are not black. Most of them.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Well, yeah, because I know it's dangerous. I remember this is a political thing, but like people were talking about like knocking on doors for your candidate and stuff, and I was like, I'm a 6-foot black man that bald head, and I fit all the general descriptions except for the fact that I'm over 25, right?
Mm.
I ain't knocking on nothing. Okay, I'll meet you at the library. I'll meet you at the mall, and we can talk to people out here in public with all the lights on. I ain't knocking on nobody's door for nothing. Nothing. So, like being a pizza delivery, I'd be terrified. But look, man, if I'm not delivering to an office building, don't send me.
Yeah,
I still get cringy vibes from it. I mean, I kind of joke about it. Then again, I kind of don't because I was dead serious. Having dreads give you it's a give and take to it. Like you'll be amazed how many times people will get out of your way when they see somebody with dreads walking their direction, which is kind of cool sometimes. I can get to the elevator quicker. But I have an issue when I went to Jamaica and this white man came up to me, and Jamaica has this weird law. I still to this day have no idea. It is not against the law to smoke marijuana in public. It is not against the law to buy marijuana. However, it is against the law to sell it. kind of confused on that one, but whatever.
Without the proper licensing.
Well, they want to make sure they aren't arresting the consumer.
So
Basically, they're trying to decriminalize the usage, but we still got to get you for selling it.
So we're at this Margaritaville. I'll never forget it. Margaritaville. Now, granted, I don't know what happened beforehand. I just know what happened afterwards. So I'm standing there and I'm chilling out with my brother-in-law and we're just talking and everything else. And this white man walked up to me and go, "Yo, man, you got any? You got any?" I was like, "No, I don't sell that. So I don't even do it." So he's like, "Oh, okay." And he walks completely away, not away from me, like away from Margaritaville and just up and left. And I'm standing there thinking to myself, so you picked out the one black man with dreadlocks to ask that question for, and now your job is done? Now, granted,
Sir?
I don't know what you did beforehand. You may have been there all day walking up to a lot of other people. But I do kind of find the suspicion that, he got dreads. Let me ask him. No?
Sir?
Marlon,
Sir.
come on now.
What?
Sir,
Yes.
you are wearing the uniform.
Yeah, it's like you
I mean, it's like you were wearing the uniform.
watch every movie. Watch
I
every
don't
movie.
want to wear it. I'm wearing it. Hair. That's not a uniform.
You're wearing the uniform,
Yes, it
brother.
is.
It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right.
Stereotype. Yeah, it's not
But-
right, but that's what.
I'm like,
That'd be like, look, that'd be like
only one he has.
little housewives tucking their purse. They've been fed the story that I'm the one to be scared of. I'm wearing the uniform. Doesn't matter what the hell I'm wearing. You were taught to be afraid of this right here. So there you go. Doesn't make it right. You know, just saying. Like, if you standing on the street corner and you got, barely there clothes on, look like a stripper, but you really out in the street and you walking up to cars asking if, maybe you can borrow 50 cents to go buy a soda. Forgive me, but you're wearing the uniform. So I might think that you have a different occupational endeavor that you got going on. Like, you in Jamaica, you got the dreads. They just gonna typecast you, homie.
Yeah.
And just so that we are giving the correct info here, it is illegal in Jamaica. It may not be enforced, but it is illegal officially.
It wasn't enforced then because,
Well, a lot of times it's not going to be enforced on the tourists, right? Because you make them much more money than you would help them with arresting and detaining an American citizen. Like, is trade-off ain't there, right? I mean, if you're egregious with it, then that's different. But generally, tourists get a bit of a pass. But yeah, it's still illegal.
It's illegal, yeah.
I thought it was legal.
Because that's what we're told basically here in America, that
everybody
Jamaica and weed just go together.
Because I tell you one thing. They were pulling that thing out like it was cigarettes. Like, ooh, that was a good smell. Light it up.
People here buy cigarettes.
Okay.
Not my party, but it is for a lot of people.
Hey, didn't bother me none. I don't do it because I know how it affects my body. But I'm not that stickler to the rule. Oh my goodness, clutch pearls type of person. Hey, whatever.
But yeah, it is unfortunate that things, whether it be for custom or just for fashion or just personal taste, that you end up being stereotyped or profiled for things. It's unfortunate. It's also a reality, right? So that's one of the things that I think is super important to get across to our young people. And it doesn't make it right, but that has nothing to do with keeping you safe or operating in the lanes that are best for you. So you are a young black male, unless you have a religious affinity, right? Now, if you are Rasta, then that's part of your cultural identity. And so that's one thing. Or your father or your uncles or whomever around you, it's a family thing that you wear your hair a certain way. Okay. No matter how you come to it, even if it's just a fashion choice, right? Personal fashion choice. No matter how you come to it, you still have to own all that comes with it, even though it's not your fault, even though it's not fair, right? So just know what you're lining up for. Like these young men who they just fallen over themselves to go get Dodge Chargers. Okay. Why do you want the Dodge Charger? It's not just because the car looks good and it goes fast. That's not why you want it, if you're really honest. You want it because of the social appeal of it. And why does it have social appeal? Because of the people who are known to have it. Athletes or famous people or the cool guy who smokes and hangs out and gets all the women. You're trying to put on this level of a costume or have an attachment to a certain thing, and that's fine. But acknowledge what comes with it. What comes with it, unfortunately, is being followed, and you ain't do nothing but drive home. Yep. What comes with it is people walking up to you asking if you deal. Right? So it's the stuff that comes with a lot of things we sometimes will say, well, it's my right. It's my right to dress this way. It's my right to act this way. It's my right to do this and do that. And you're 100% correct. But your rights do not, the world won't get out the way.
Right.
Yeah,
for what you choose to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, that is our first hour in the books. We will be going into the Mama Hard Hour with a full slate for the first time in a long time. Am I the A-hole Mafia video of the week? Real or Not, and Foxy video of the week. 3-minute break to reboot and refresh, and we'll see everybody on the other side. Stay tuned.
Living for weekends, wishing I could take a break from this world. Running on a hamster wheel, but searching for something I can't feel. I just wanna be a lost girl and fly. Take a breath, feel my wings spread, levitate above the ground and make eye contact with clouds. Now I'm rising, I'm soaring above it all. I just wanna be free, finally, I wanna be free, I wanna be free, finally, I wanna be free, finally. I always stay dreaming, never imagined I lose my spark. Living in this crazy time, putting back the pieces of my mind. I know how to run from the dark and fly. Take a breath, feel my wings spread, levitate into the clouds. I'm so high above the ground, I'm rising, I'm soaring above it all. I just wanna be free, finally,
back, and without further ado, let's go ahead and pay those bills. Please help support Tracy Carson at buymeacoffee.com/Tracy Media LLC. Help support Tracy in all of her endeavors. Please help support Anna Hart at BorelliEtc.com. Learn something that you didn't think you need to know, but you should. And if you need to reach me, you can do so at radtp@outlook.com. That's RADTP@outlook.com. And here is the start of the Mama Heart Hour. In case you didn't know from yesterday, Mama Heart has done this company, however you want to call it, this production, this shows, whatever, a solid yesterday. So from here on out to the end of the year or more, because the second hour will from here on out be known as the Mama Heart Hour. It should be no more tears because she already shared them yesterday. So
Yes. She's good. She believes in what we do. We have really good conversations, and she wanted to invest in that a little.
Thank you, Mama Heart. I wasn't here yesterday. Thank you.
I truly appreciate it. Am I the a-hole? Here is a good old-fashioned Foxy and I fight over the answer to this. Of course, I will not be giving you the answer about who said what until the end of the story. I left the title of it. I normally don't. I like to just jump into the story, but Dusty made it perfectly clear because I don't want anybody to be confused or no, that's not what was said. I want to make it perfectly clear what is being said. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Okay, here we go. This story is a follower submission. It is a cake reward story, and it is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Making a Butt Cake for My Nephew? That's butt, B-U-T-T cake, not bunt, butt cake. I, 38 female, make cakes as a side gig. I'm a teacher by day, but baking is a passion of mine, so I take 2 or 3 cake orders per month from friends and family who want a cake for one reason or another. I've done this for several years, so many of my friends and family call me for every occasion. My sister-in-law recently asked me to bake a cake for her nephew's 4th birthday, and of course I agreed. It was a Ninja Turtle themed party, so the two of us brainstormed several fun turtle cake ideas, but she ultimately left the design up to me. Later that afternoon, I asked my nephew what kind of cake he wanted for his birthday, expecting an answer in the form of flavor. But being a 4-year-old boy, his answer was that he wanted a butt cake. Cool. So I asked him again later on, and again he said a butt cake. What cartoons is this kid watching? As the party date approached, I made a point to call them and ask to speak directly with my nephew and ask him again what kind of cake he wanted for his birthday. I was careful to explain that he'd be getting a cake that looked like a Ninja Turtle, but I needed to know what flavor he wanted it to be. Again, though, he insisted that he have a butt cake for his birthday. Now, I'm not usually one to deliver a cake that is not exactly as ordered, but I also love a good challenge, and really, I think the birthday boy should be the one who decides what kind of cake he gets anyway, so I made the boy a butt cake. Now are we talking about flavor or shape? I'm confused. I had a feeling that if I told my sister-in-law what I was doing ahead of time, she would veto the butt cake and force my nephew to settle for the turtle cake instead, so I didn't say a word. I just showed up the day of the party with a perfectly perky, bootylicious butt cake. It was glorious. 2 supple cheeks, 1 chocolate, and 1 apple. Get it? Apple bottom. With a silky caramel buttercream icing. To say my nephew loved it would be an understatement. He was ecstatic. He squealed and giggled and was jumping up and down. I know deep down that he was just testing me to see if I'd pull through for him, giving him something silly just because he'd asked for it. Well, I'm here for you, buddy. Auntie's got you. His mom, my sister-in-law, on the other hand, was not happy. She was actually pretty pissed. She said that it was inappropriate that her parents and grandparents would be at the party and would not appreciate this level of vulgarity, especially with it being a 4-year-old's party. She said she was embarrassed and refused to let anyone actually see the whole cake. We just cut it in the back and served it already sliced. She didn't talk to me for the entire party and hasn't spoken to me much since. It's been about 3 weeks now, and I have apologized to her several times. Am I the astronaut for giving my nephew the epic butt cake that he asked for? This is a follower submitted story. I mean, I feel like kids decide on crazy things, right? And
Sorry, everybody. I actually thought I had edited the rest of it. Apparently, I didn't. So, there you go.
What?
Yeah, you are the butthole.
You sure are. God
What
goodness.
were you
What? 4 years?
thinking?
Oh, he's 4. He gonna get over.
This is that free range children thing. Well, just gotta let him find him. Look, that's your belief system. When you're talking about a kid, unless the child's being abused, you go by the parents' belief system. Period. Point blank. End of discussion. So, parent said, the parent didn't even say that. He didn't give her the opportunity to say nothing. You went around the parent and delivered a butt cake. Now, personally, I like a nice butt. I think
I love a good
a
butt.
beautiful butt is a beautiful thing. And I appreciate this young man at 4 realizing the beauty of a butt. Now, granted, he
That's
thinks
very
of it in a whole different way. He looks at it as butts, because butts fart, you know. But you did this to spite your sister. Let's just be real. That's what it was. That's all.
You kept on asking him.
A 4-year-old.
Kept on asking.
I mean,
He can't even read yet.
4. You don't ask a 4. It would be a difference. No one. There be a certain age where that would be appropriate, i.e., if he were an adult. Then
Oh, he
okay.
got to be grown. He could have been 18, 17. He wanted not a butt cake.
Would you let your 16-year-old daughter get a butt cake?
I absolutely would not.
That's why I said an adult, because then that way you're like, Mom, this is what I wanted. But 4 years old, what if he had said? What if he had said? Oh boy, what for me? What if he had said man part? Oh yeah, that's what I want.
You mean the penis?
Yes.
I want penis cake. Yeah.
There's no way she should have been asking a 4-year-old. A 4-year-old. A 4-year-old is going to say the most disgusting thing ever. She did the. I would never call her to make another cake ever. Yes, ma'am, you are the a-hole. You need to shut up. Stop it. And then gonna make one chocolate and one apple bottom. Hee. That ain't funny.
I like a nice apple bottom. Now,
Not for a kid's birthday party.
there's different booty. You got the peach booty, you got the apple booty, you got the heart booty, you got the square booty, you got the booty. I don't know what to call it. You know, there's all kinds of booty. There's a lot of booty. I don't care what kind of booty was this cake. You know, because there's little booties and little booties and the big booties and the green booty.
Turtle booty.
So it was a green booty. Okay, so that's a Captain Kirk special, because you know Captain Kirk, you know, he got down no matter where you was at. You know, green women, pink women, purple women. You know, so I'm gonna call that the Star Trek. No, I'm gonna call that the Enterprise booty. That's what that right there is. You know?
She never said that was a turtle booty.
She said that it was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle type birthday party theme.
That was the thing, but not the cake.
Wasn't the cake?
It wasn't the cake.
Nope.
That cake
Oh,
was.
what if it was Master Splinter's booty? That's.
So what she kept saying,
No, the mother wanted the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, but that was not the cake.
She never actually said that she was making a turtle booty.
She literally kept saying, "What kind of turtle cake would you want?" And the 4-year-old kept saying, I don't want a turtle cake,
I
or
want a
just
booty cake.
ignoring that question altogether and kept saying, I want a booty cake. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
see,
I
I thought she
understand.
made a whole turtle.
Nope, she
And
just he kept ignoring the turtle period of anything. He wants a
she
butt
made a
cake.
human being
Okay.
booty cake. Not out of human being, but in shape of a human
I
being.
We don't know.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And
Yes.
I feel like you're just doing that just so you could go on another rant about butts. Yes, we did it. She asked him twice. And wait a minute, no. No, she did ask him twice.
Several times.
She asked her twice, and she wasn't even questioning what the shape was. She kept saying,
Yeah.
what flavor do you want? What flavor do you want? And he still kept going to, no, I want a butt cake.
And I think that's incredibly rude. Like, first of all, hats off for choosing apple because I love all apple flavored desserts. Most
Not
underrated,
for a cake.
wonderful dessert. Man, an apple
Some
cinnamon
people
bunt
love it.
cake,
Yeah.
not butt cake, bunt cake. An apple cinnamon cake, that stuff is so good. Oh my
That's yummy.
goodness.
Yellow cake,
Oh,
strawberry cake, lemon cake, white
I do
cake.
like strawberry and
Strawberry.
lemon.
But
Yeah, strawberry cake and lemon
apple,
cake. I like those.
no. Apples are
But
good for cobblers and
No,
pies.
you can keep that yellow
go
cake.
by. It's not. This is not going to be the perfect cake, okay? Because it's mass produced. But go to your local Kroger, or I mean, you're around the country. Some of y'all, so Kroger owns different chains. Go to your local Kroger, and in their bakery section, they oftentimes will have an apple cinnamon cake. It is so good. They might call it apple caramel, but it is
Yeah.
so good. And do yourself a favor. It's just good.
All right, let me go ahead and close this segment up because I'm trying not to eat anymore tonight, and Thiz is really messing that up for me.
I'm sorry. I didn't know you wanted to eat some booty. I'm just saying that
You so
know.
far off
It
booty
is.
when you put the Kroger is talking about.
You opened yourself wide
Yeah.
open for that, Marlon.
I'm just wondering, was it a
You
female
set me up.
booty
I had
or
to
was
do
it
it.
a male booty? Because those are two different shapes. Like women
Not
booty.
necessarily, man. Some of these men got girl booties, and some of these girls got man booties. A
Hey,
booty
Thiz,
is a unisex experience if you really
It
think
is
about it.
Anna didn't help.
unique.
Anna didn't help with what she said either. Because you talk about, man, you just set me up for this. And what's the next thing out of Anna's mouth? Yep, you left it wide open.
Left it wide.
I mean,
Like,
you know,
I mean, did she put the? Did she go
you
with
left
just
a
the?
gaping hole of discussion, sir. So
Did she do like the lower back or just the buttock shape? Was it a healthy looking butt cake or was it a flat? Because there's different
Well, you know,
shapes.
so now, be fair. There are some healthy flat booties. You know, I am a member of the itty bitty titty and the little booty committee. And I'm just gonna say that there is beauty in so many. The range of beautiful booties is there. It's all about what your taste is, and sometimes the taste can evolve because it depends on what's attached to that booty.
Because if
Because
we're
sometimes,
talking
you
about
know,
a female hip, like I'm wide hipped. Like I'm wide hipped. Was it wide hips, slender hip, boy hipped?
we just talking about the booty. We ain't talking about the rest of it.
No, but the
You know
booty
what I'm
has to
saying?
have a shape.
Not necessarily. Hopefully it does, because otherwise she was just could have gave him a sheet cake and then like
That's what I'm saying.
did
Was
a
it a
divot
sheet
down the
cake
middle
booty?
and
Did
said,
she
"There you
just
got a booty cake."
We need a picture. We need
I
a
made a
That's what
cake
we
picture.
just like your
need.
mama.
We really need it. Like, cause was she flat? Like that's a more that's more like a boy shape. Cause some,
Marlon,
cause I'm thinking
help
women.
us.
Cause some people have like
I'm actually
boy
looking.
shape.
Or they could have undercooked it and then it'll just be kind of like wobbly and weak and it's just
Ooh.
Or she could have made a
yeah.
jello cake and then made it shake.
Well, see that Jello cake now. You know what I'm saying? Might be shaking like jelly. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But we don't know.
Mercy, they literally have pictures of butt cakes.
Oh, if you look on the internet, there's some of anything that you might ask for. It'll be on there.
I'm just wondering,
Scary
I'm like,
place.
is it a boy shaped? Is it male? Is it? Because
What is a boy-shaped booty?
just flat, just like no definition, just flat up, straight
I
up.
mean, now that's most of us, but I'm just saying that's not how all boy booties are. I mean, you know, what if he was a track star? You know, people who run track, male or female, they got booties. This is part of what happens with the muscles being exercised and and stuff. You know,
I'm finna
it's
get
them
off the
people.
internet. I'm finna get off the internet. That's disgusting.
Because
What's disgusting?
then you wonder, did she put the crack in there or did she just do the shape?
No, you got to do the crack because otherwise you don't get that mound. You know what I'm saying? You got to have that little curvature.
And then how much of the back does
Hair.
she do, right? Because sometimes, like some people, like they hips just like mine, they just sit on the back. They just sit right there on the back. They just go back hip. Like there's no space in
I can
between.
see that. Yeah, you're right. Because you know, is it going to be that gentle sloping
That
into a
little
booty,
slope.
or
Some
is it
people
like a
don't have
table,
that slope.
like it just curves right out, comes right on out there?
We are talking way too much about butts.
I mean, some
This
of us,
That's so
unfortunately, some of us got
beautiful.
some big butts. Unfortunately, we don't got big nothing else, but we got big butts.
Let me go ahead and move on by letting you know the answer to the question who said what. I agree with everybody on here that it was wrong. Foxy was the one who disagreed and went, "Oh, that's my nephew, and you can always depend on auntie to be the cool auntie and everything else." I ain't trying to be the cool uncle.
Not at
No,
No,
4 years old.
4 years
not.
He's
old.
not
I'm
gonna
not
ever
gonna
remember
do
that.
this. You can forget it.
Well,
It's not happening.
He's not gonna ever remember he wanted a butt cake at
No,
4 years
no,
old.
no. He's lit. Oh, he would not remember that he asked for it.
No.
Even if he did, too bad. So what?
The only way a 4-year-old remembers something like
She
this
keeps bringing it
remember.
is
up.
based on the reaction to it. The bigger you make the reaction to the event, the more memorable the event becomes.
Yeah,
Generally speaking, in my opinion, and I'm not a psychologist, most people don't really have well-formed memories before like age 6 or 7. But if they've experienced any trauma before that, yeah, that memory starts. It's
Mhm.
so
and that's not traumatic
You know,
to the child.
I'm gonna tell
no,
you right
that's not traumatic. A butt is a beautiful thing. It's to a
Right.
4-year-old.
now.
It's the
Slow down.
funniest thing it could ever be.
Yeah, because the mother's gonna keep bringing it up. Your aunt, that's why she can't make you a cake now because when
No,
you were 4,
his mother sound like the type of person who would want this to be forgotten. So she ain't gonna bring it up no more.
she
No,
gonna
she
bring
gonna
it
bring it
up.
up.
She gonna
She
bring
gonna
it
bring it
up
up.
every
She gonna bring it
time.
up.
Every time somebody say, "Should I get Clarissa?" and I'm just naming the aunt. Let her make a cake. No, she made my son a butt cake, and no, no, no.
All right, everybody, let's move on. We don't build a butt quota for fill the butt quota for the whole year.
Just
Mafia,
plug that hole right on up, didn't we?
yep, we sure did.
Did they shave their legs though?
Go away.
Hey, what kind of glaze do you put on a butt cake?
You gotta put buttercream.
Buttercream. See, I was thinking more of a nice lemon glaze because it just makes it shine
With
like baby oil. It'd be like
apple?
baby oil, you know? No, not on the apple cake. You're right. That one would
Mm.
have to be like a vanilla glaze or maybe a caramel kind of.
I am done with the butt crew. I will never play a story. Who am I lying? I probably will. We're gonna go ahead and move on so we can get out of the butt world. Apparently, Redditor is back. It's a two-parter. For the first time in a long time, we have a two-parter of a Mafia video of the week. The first video is the setup. The second part is the payoff. So let's go ahead and get into the first part.
I'm the father of a 1-year-old toddler. Recently, she started teething as her molars have started to come in. First, it was the top ones for about a week. Then we had a week's break, and now the bottom ones are coming in. It's clearly causing my daughter a lot of pain, especially at night. Before, she was a good sleeper, but now it's been rough. She's been waking up around 1 a.m. and then 3 a.m. daily, screaming with her little fingers in her mouth. My wife and I have tried comforting her, bringing her in our bed. She sleeps in our room anyway, and her crib is next to our bed, but normally she likes to sleep cuddled up when she's uncomfortable. We've even given her baby Motrin to help her with the pain, but she still screams for about 10 to 20 minutes each time until we're able to settle her down. It's shrill and it sucks, but there's not much we can do beyond what we're already doing. We live on the ground floor of a new condo building. It's made of heavy concrete and decently soundproofed, but it's not perfect. Above us lives a single woman in her late 20s, early 30s. This is an expensive part of town in a new building, so we can assume she's decently moneyed. She also keeps her balcony door open all day and night, and it faces directly into our courtyard. She's been punishing us during the day by blasting loud music directly into our unit by putting a stereo next to her balcony. We're on the ground floor, and we have a fully enclosed courtyard, so it vibrates around. She's got great music taste, and my daughter will just dance to it all day long. So while my wife hates her intention, I think it's worked out just fine. Until now. Last night, she came barging down at 3 a.m. and rang our bell 4 times while we were trying to settle our daughter. Motrin works for about 8 hours, so by 3 a.m., we have to give her another dose and wait through the cries, cradling her for 15 to 20 minutes for it to kick in again. My wife, a strong-tempered petite woman, amplified by her first year of motherhood, wanted to go fight her then and there. But I said, let's just concentrate on settling the baby and ignore her. I also didn't want to make the baby any more upset than she already was. So yeah, I just let her fume outside my door at 3 a.m. Am I the jerk? Update. I delivered a small care package to her door with a long letter and a bottle of wine and chocolates. That your neighbor treated you like that and you gave her wine and chocolates? Bruh. She was not home, so I put it next to her door. We're only here for a couple of months, temporary rental until we finish construction, but I'd rather offer an olive branch than see all the pettiness continue. Yes, it sucks to be woken up. Yes, it's a shared building. Yes, people throw parties here until 3 a.m. on the weekends. Yes, babies cry and we try our best. For those who live in very big cities, mine has 22 million, this is what you experience. I'm listening to loud mariachi music from the neighbor across the way right now.
Dude, you too soft. That's one. The two, I do like your laid back attitude. That's also cool as well. Your wife is probably high strung, so you're probably really low key. That's usually how relationships work. So yeah, it's whatever. Babies cry, you're 100%. I straight up, the lady, I like mariachi music too. But anyway, this lady, I mean, like, yo, for real. I understand my child is crying or whatnot, and I'm wondering what kind of lungs this kid has that you got your patio door is closed. I would hope. So if your baby is crying to the point that going through the patio door, cross the courtyard, and bothering this lady over here, either she's just bothered by the sound of children, or you don't have your door closed. So one solution would be is you close your door and she closes her door, and we just solved the problem.
The problem that I have with this story is the parents, and I'm going to assume you're young parents. I really am, and I'm pretty sure this. The second video goes into it, of course. You don't give your child pain medicine after the first dosage wears off. You literally have started over. That means you are waiting until your child is in pain again.
Yeah.
Knowing it takes a while for the medicine to dissolve into their system for it to work.
Oh, no, I'm a little different here.
Yeah, because I'm like, what you supposed to do if they
have always been brought up with that you do not take pain medication after it wears
That's
off.
what
You
the
take that pain
pediatricians
medication at least 10 minutes before it.
I agree with you for like a child or an adult, because there's ways you like stagger it or whatnot. But for teething, like, no, I'm not there. Because, you know, for me, it's like one of the things, and you said they're probably like new parents, but for more experienced parents, you also know that you alternate Motrin and Tylenol. So if you do Motrin first, then the next one is going to be Tylenol, and you flip back and forth because you can't have all that piling up in their system at one time. So you flip it back and forth. But they may not know that, or the kid may just have really painful teething.
It can be awful.
But yeah, I mean, when your kid's teething, But now I'm not of the school that you keep them sedated. I mean,
Well, that's one thing
you
is
know,
true. It'll come up in the next video. I
oh, that's right.
honestly,
You've seen more than we have. So
yeah, I think I don't even think I've given my daughter pain medicine when she was teething out. She chewed the living crap out of that doggone teething ring like it was no tomorrow. Like, sweetie, that's not food. I need you to calm down now. But hey, who am I to speak? I'm not going through the pain, and she is. Knock yourself out. What can I possibly say that you're
Did you
gonna
put
miss?
anything in the freezer? Did you try anything else? It
No,
just
Just
not
sounds like
anything else. Because I've
just
heard
freeze the
parents
teething
giving their
ring and
kids
it'll
alcohol and putting it on their gums.
yeah,
no,
brandy on the
that
gun.
that doesn't make it right.
no.
Ew.
Because it was in my head too, but I'm like, I refuse to do that with my kids.
I'm
It's
Right.
not.
just not necessary. These got
Don't
too
be
many
putting
alternatives.
don't
But
be
there
putting
were
alcohol on
other
your baby's
things that
gums.
they could have gone to that he did not name. And then he went, we tried everything. No, you didn't.
Like ask a doctor. What do you do when this happens?
Right.
They got
Yeah,
those. Don't they still make those baby biscuits? They're like are super duper hard and babies chew on them.
Yep. Yes, they do.
You mean talking
My
about dog
nephew
treats?
has.
No, the baby biscuits.
did you say?
My uncle actually did chew dog biscuits when he was good teeth.
They're not dog biscuits. They're baby. They're
But
baby
yes, they
biscuits.
are. They are.
They can
I know what
brand
you're
them
talking
however they
about.
want to. Them some dog biscuits.
Have you ever tasted a dog biscuit as an adult?
As an adult, no,
Well then, how you
but I
gonna do
have
this?
tasted a dog biscuit before. Not a problem.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't a cookie, was it?
No, no.
All right, let's go ahead and
Yeah.
get into the second video to get it over with before
All right.
totally disgust me for the rest of this show. No longer hungry. Thanks, Liz.
Everyone sucks here. Your comments about her are awful, especially that Daddy is paying her way. Her response with the loud music is childish. Is there some reason why you can't move the doses of Motrin so that it works all night? Maybe a dose at 11 p.m. That would allow all of you to get a much needed night's sleep. Also, I think they make cold teething rings to help with pain. Try harder. For you, your kid, and your neighbor. Also, go to a doctor. How is the baby screaming loud enough to disrupt someone else's life in a, from his words, pretty soundproof building? And doctors tell you to stay ahead of the pain. They shouldn't wait until the kid is screaming to finally give her pain meds. They know she's teething. Why are they letting her reach that level of agony? Info. About giving her dose later at night. You mean there's another way than waking up the building at 3 a.m. every single night? Also, good job at deleting the daddy line, which was causing you to gain some of the you're the jerk judgments. The daddy line is still in the auto mod comment for those who want to see it. OP is the jerk for deleting it to make him sound like less of a jerk. I felt like OP used some pretty harsh and leading words to describe the neighbor, even after OP removed the daddy line. You're the jerk, and I have 4 kids. I shared a wall with college students when I had babies, so I have first-hand experience with the music versus baby conflicts. OP needs to extend an olive branch to all direct neighbors, box of muffins, or a gift card from a local coffee place with a note apologizing for the nighttime baby noise. Maybe a comment about loving her taste in music during the day for this. The neighbor bangs on his door in the middle of the night, and y'all really think he should give her gifts? Bruh. Stop it, Reddit boy. Remember your blood pressure. No, someone comes banging on my door at 3 a.m. I'm not gonna give them gifts. I'm gonna kick their. Stop it, Reddit boy. Stop it. I can't. Don't do it, Reddit boy. Reddit boy, you have ascended. It feels so good to fight.
Okay, I'm kind of a Reddit
I'm
boy
so
here.
confused. Wait a
What?
I'm kind of a
minute.
Reddit boy here. Like, you must be in some LA yuppie kind of area where you look, babies cry. Okay? They do. And we've all been babies, and to some extent, hopefully we've been around them. So babies cry. and I'm sorry if it interrupts your life, person. But what I'm not about to do is show up with muffins like this is normal. Like who normally just shows up at people's door with food? I'm not eating it anyway. Who does? I would think it might be a cultural difference, but I would be so weirded out that the person who annoys me is showing up with food and wine. Who are you, crazy person? I just no.
I am so.
I'm with Reddit boy.
I'm confused. Where did I miss something in the first video about the daddy line? I must have missed it.
Oh, he had made a comment about it's an expensive building, so for her to be like a college age student, her dad must be paying her way.
I must
That's
have missed
basically
that whole
thing.
I did too. Wow.
Here's the deal. It was removed, so it wasn't read. So when the commenters came, they said he had put that and then later removed it.
But it was mentioned in the story that
but
how expensive it is. And
this is why if you have children, then I'm just saying this as a person, because I'm not around little babies all the time. Get a standalone house because condos are not for you.
Did you?
No. Not for you or anybody.
If you're gonna have a baby, just go buy a house. Why not? They all over the place. You drive by them all day. Just stop on by and buy a house. You got a baby, buy a house.
Buy a house.
Well, take advantage of it now because they're really cheap.
Exactly. Yes. Like the young people with babies aren't like broke.
Well, okay, I'll rephrase what I did. Because if you're living in a condo, you're already paying. No, I'm not wrong. I'm exactly right.
You wrong.
I got a standalone house. I got a standalone house. No, I'm not.
Because you
babies should not be ostracized.
Condos are for single people.
Either having a baby or having a
house.
Not.
That's what they make condos for.
Retirement homes are for seniors.
Condos are for people that don't have children.
People.
Yeah, single people with like no children. That's what condos are for.
Also made a decision to
but no, they're not.
And I'm gonna tell you the truth, Tracy. I'm not gonna base my decision on having a child.
Townhome, but not a condo. A condo?
A condo is just an apartment.
Yes,
a condo is just an apartment.
It really is. Oh, I don't know where it is everywhere else. I literally went to a condo helping out a colleague of mine one time, and I went to her condo, and I looked around and went,
"It's paper thin walls, so you already know noise is gonna come."
Kudos, great, wonderful, marvelous. This is an apartment. It looks.
But see, that's so. On that note, right? Because I learned this living in Florida. So what used to be a condo was an apartment that was built and designed for purchase. So it has more insulation. It's fully kind of self-contained. Even though it's in an apartment type structure, it has like the flame retardant walls and all of that. So whatever happens in your unit doesn't make it to nobody else's unit. That's what most of us think of when we think of a condo, for the most part. But as things have gone over time, what happened is they would just buy an apartment complex.
Yes, and then sell the unit
and turn it into a condo.
Yeah, they would.
And there's no difference. If you catch fire, it's burned up the whole building.
Listen, as a person that lived in the apartments from the Lake of Hades, I'm telling you, don't get an apartment. Those walls are thin.
But you get what you can afford, especially when you're young, raising a family.
A house is way cheaper than a condo.
Tracy, when the last time?
How long have you stayed in your apartment before you got your house?
2 years.
Why?
Because I signed a lease like an idiot.
Why did you get the apartment instead of buying a house?
My credit was bad, so I had to improve my credit for 2 years.
So
credit is bad. You don't have the money for a down payment.
Young people ain't got no money, man.
Especially today.
A condo is you wasting your time. You wasting a baby in a condo. No, I'm just
A
saying
baby in a
no.
condo is the exact same thing as a baby in an apartment.
That's what I'm saying.
Babies.
And people in apartments can't afford to get a house 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying it. And this is just from my personal experience, which is just anecdotal, but it's also highly representative of most people. You get an apartment because getting a house is very difficult. You need 5 to 20%, depending upon the program you might be able to qualify for, as a down payment. Then you also have to have the credit to sustain it. And you have to have the ability to get a home that's even available to you and do the upkeep and the maintenance of a home versus being able to come up with just the rent and everything else is
In
taken care
mortgage.
of. So, huh?
In the
Don't
mortgage.
forget the don't forget the
Well,
income.
if you have an apartment, you just paying the rent.
But if you have a condo, think about it. If you have a condo, you paying for the condo, then you paying the HOA.
Yes. And it's still cheaper than trying to get a standalone home
I think a
in many
standalone
cases.
home is cheaper.
And these aren't people who are worried about money. As he said in his own explanation, these people are not worried about money. They make good money. So
They're
I
waiting
just
for a
don't,
house to be built.
Yeah, they're not gonna be
yeah.
there.
But I'm just not able to ride because I mean, everybody I know that raised a family before they were 40, they were in apartments,
Mm-hmm.
like all of them. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what
I'm
you could
with the
afford.
lady with the banging on the roof. Because when you live above, because I lived on the lower floor.
Now,
Now,
okay, legit, a baby should not be screaming
screaming. No, these
all
were.
night.
I agree. That's why I
But I
said.
don't think it is screaming all night, even by the way the story is told.
But the way, if you see it from the person that banging at the door at 3 o'clock,
You
first
come
mind
banging on
you,
my door at 3 o'clock, we're gonna have a problem.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're
we
gonna have a
really
problem
are.
You
first.
better
Yeah,
come with the
Well,
police. You
if
We
better
it
really
come
was
with the
are.
me,
police.
it would be the next day.
it would be the next
Say,
day.
hey, can we please speak as neighbors?
Because I'm
Right.
telling
And
you
that would be
right
my
now.
opportunity as your
And
neighbor to explain
do we
maybe
have
what my
our
baby's
windows,
going through.
doors
And you know
Or
shut?
what's worse? You know what's worse than the screaming baby? People with pets, and a lot of them. Not just one dog, not just two dogs, three, four,
okay.
5 dogs in
Tracy
an
has is
apartment.
out to offend everybody right now
No,
because she
I'm
just
not.
equated
Really?
children with
Because I
dogs.
didn't say
Hey,
it.
But I'm just
No, because when you live in, when they make these apartments, they make the walls paper. I mean, I'm talking like
okay.
Yeah,
Take
we
it up with the
know.
builder. Take it up with the
Mm-hmm.
builder. Don't take it up with the people who trying to raise a family. Like
I just
I
really
don't
feel
hate
like
kids and pets. I'm just saying when you're trying to
I
sleep,
really just feel like you
You know,
want
there are
everybody
places
to
that don't allow pets. Go there.
move there.
that's why
Yes.
I'm here.
you are
That's
living
why I'm
you
here.
want people to live their life around not irritating you.
You.
I'm saying that it can
Please
be very it can be very
don't have
irritating.
no don't
No,
stay beside me and
no,
have
No,
that's
I
not
no
what I
agree that
sex
it
said.
can
on
be very
every
irritating. I
No,
do.
because when you're
But my
trying,
Yes.
point is, babies are literally a fact of life. If there are no babies, we have a serious, serious problem.
and
Yep.
And
all
we
I'm
all
saying
came
is,
through that path. And
Yep.
and she has not, from what was given to us in the story, she didn't even use the most simplest of remedies. She's across the courtyard. Close your daggone door.
Close your
Right?
door.
That's there you go. But I
this
shouldn't have to
here's
close
the
my door.
thing about it
Oh,
is
so it's better for me to have to stifle a baby than you close a door?
yeah,
and
now
here's
that I can see,
hold on, Tracy,
but
hold on. And here's the deal part that pisses me off that nobody's thinking about. Hey, so
Yeah.
you are not the only one that stays in these apartments. I can hear the baby crying too. So now, not only do I have the baby crying, your logic is I will fight it by you playing mariachi band. No, I'm going to cuss you out because you think you the only two people that live in this apartment complex. I live below you, lady. I don't give a damn about your mariachi band music. I don't even give a damn that you upset about the baby. I want you to shut the fuck up just like I want them to shut the fuck up. But I understand them a lot better than your grown ass sitting there playing music with the
see,
door
that's
locked.
not what I'm saying. I'm gonna disagree with what Learn Life is saying. I'm not saying exclude children. at all. This is what I'm saying. I want
You
everybody
just said that they ain't got no business having a baby and a condo in the
and
same
a
time.
condo, not with the way condos are built.
It's not my problem. I'm getting what I can afford to be in where I want to
I
be.
Uh-huh.
You move.
I can't move. I moved.
Why not? I can't
can't
either.
either.
That's
What's your
the
point?
assim.
I
Like
moved. That's you know how I solved that problem. I moved. I said, okay, I'm done.
exactly. Well, now move again.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, there's
we
no
all
rules
here.
over here. You know what? My next door neighbor has a baby. Ask me how many times have I heard that baby?
That's Tracy.
Zero.
The point of the story is they both live in the same complex, and the baby is a disturbance to that neighbor. And your solution is you shouldn't have been there in the first place.
All
I'm
I'm
like,
saying
it's a
is they
baby.
should have did more to. They should have did more to address that child's toothache. I can imagine. Well, I can imagine. I probably went through it. I probably went through a bad teething phase. I guess I don't know. I don't remember.
Well, see, of course every child goes through teething, and I
Yeah.
remember being up with all my girls, but of course I never had like
Nobody's
that issue.
excluding poor people because I'm the
My
poorest of the
eldest,
poor.
my eldest was rough, but overall they were all manageable. But everybody didn't have the same skills, and every child's not the same, right? So now I'm just going to throw a wrinkle. We don't know anything about this, and honestly, the parents may not even know if this is the case. But as an infant, you don't know if your child has a developmental issue either. You don't know how that child's wired for pain.
Mhm.
So th- that pain is the child screaming because it can't talk. So
Yes, please
it's like one
understand,
is a
parents.
biological issue, and you just inconvenienced, and your inconvenience. Such is the value of your convenience that another person should change their entire life for your convenience.
Or the
That's
very location.
ridiculous.
I
Their
think
No, you're
it's
changing
location.
your
Parents
whole
are
life because you're like,
anxious enough
look, you
with
got a
their
baby, you don't get
kid
to live here.
crying.
No
And
people with
by the
babies
way,
live here. Oh, you got pregnant? I hope you're ready to move.
it is so unrealistic because you just assume that, okay, apparently you decided to have a baby. Apparently that baby comes with extra income in order to allow you to go move away from me
Well, you
because
shouldn't have had it.
I don't get what your argument is.
my,
I will not dictate my life and livelihood of my family because of your inconvenience.
and that's why
Fuck
when
it
I
up.
was inconvenienced, I fixed the problem. I moved. I was inconvenienced. I was tired of the neighbor's kids running back and forth. Mommy, and these weren't babies. These was not. They were nowhere near babies.
I
First of
feel
all,
you.
first
And
of all,
your
They
solution was
understand.
you move.
yeah, I
Yeah,
moved.
that
I
is a
didn't tell
good
them, hey,
That
solution.
I agree with.
You didn't say that the family with the baby
babies,
shouldn't move. You
plural.
no. I'm saying in the story, your solution wasn't the young lady who keeps her door open blasting music should move. You said the family who had the baby shouldn't have been there.
Shouldn't have been there.
So in your story you just shared with us, these people had kids that were annoying, right? That's just a fact. Kids are annoying. And you did what needed to be done to get in a position to move,
Tell me what
right?
it
Yes.
was.
I'm still
That's
gonna
the
say
why didn't you say that
condos.
solution for the woman with the open door?
Condos
She's the
are
one that should
built
move.
badly. That's all I'm gonna say. Condos are built very poorly. Very poorly.
Because condos are just glorified apartment
Some
complex.
are.
Yes, condos are just glorified apartments. They really are.
And
Now they
so
are. Yeah.
yeah, now if it's a townhome, that's a whole different story. A townhome is completely different from a
No,
condo.
because you terrorizing your next door neighbor. It's just one of
No, because sometimes they have the garage in the middle and then the two units are on the outside, so you don't never have to hear the neighbors.
Look, here's the deal. I like my house. I really do. I ain't got to deal with nobody next to me. I ain't got to deal with no connecting wall. I ain't got to deal with nobody above me or below me.
Yes, that's why
Thank
I said
goodness I have a quiet neighborhood, but that's not always in the cards for everybody. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And sometimes the building of credit to
Especially when
get
you're
your
young.
tree is to move into the sucky neighborhood, into a sucky house with
them. Yep.
sucky neighbors who,
Yep.
yeah, you may be in a house that's not connected, and you still can hear them damn kids yelling and screaming and
Yep.
crying, and the
Yep.
dog barking because the
And-
babies are screaming and crying.
And to say that the solution for a family is go buy a house is just it to me it's like tone deaf because I was in my 30s when I was able to buy a house and I was lucky to be in my 30s to be able to buy a house. That people are in their 40s and 50s and can't buy a house, right? And most people who are raising a young family are in their 20s and their 30s. So either we gonna say you ain't got no business having kids until you can afford a house, and the average house, depending upon where you live, is starting
Or
at $200,000
buy a
and
townhouse.
$300,000, huh?
I said, or a townhouse.
Or that's not a
everybody,
solution.
hold up. How much would someone have to pay Tracy to be in the middle of kids at a place like Chuck E. Cheese's for 1 hour?
There ain't enough
LOL, I
money.
feel like that would be
Ain't the most money in the world,
Ain't
boy.
enough money on this planet.
Did you imagine if Tracy was the manager of one of those places? It would close at 2:00
in the afternoon. In the afternoon, we close at 2. Go tell your child to read a book. Thank you. That's all.
Lord.
We ain't got no more pizza.
Turn that damn mouse off.
You'd be the
Why are all
owner
these
who would
kids?
not be there.
Why are all these kids over here? I'm just so
used to
tired of all
being
these
around
kids.
kids. I'm like,
Tracy, it's a daycare.
Lord have mercy. Real or nah? Lord, I just caught that. It's a daycare, Tracy. Yes, kids are here.
I would never say that in a place that was populated by children.
Why don't you have a job? Aren't you 8?
You would probably never be at a place that's populated.
I sure wouldn't be. You got that right.
All right, everybody. For the fact of the matter that we've already went through the whole butt situation as it is, I'm inclined to go ahead and play this story because I've already picked it. It ain't no use of me holding on to it for next week because it's not going to get any better. But since I'm already going to give you my answer right now, as I think this is a BS story, it's not real, I'm going to go ahead and play it. Underwear pics.
This year, I celebrated Christmas with my fiance's family for the first time. Before we went to my fiance's parents' house, my fiance warned me that his parents usually come short in the amount of food they cook for Christmas dinner and that there's often not enough for everyone. What I didn't expect, though, was to be expected to participate in the family's weird tradition. Apparently, they have a long-standing tradition where instead of drawing straws, they'll all throw their underwear in a bin and then go take turns wearing a blindfold and drawing a pair of underwear from the pile, and drawing the smallest pair of underwear correlates to drawing the smallest straw. It's kind of the thing that you need to prepare for ahead of time, right? I had never heard of this tradition, so I felt blindsided when right before Christmas dinner, my fiance's mom yelled out that it was time to pull the straws to decide the order of who got to plate up their food first in case there wasn't enough for everyone. Hold up. They sound like a very close family. At first, I thought the family was joking when they announced this, so I laughed, which made my fiance get real defensive. I volunteered to get my food last so I wouldn't have to participate, but my fiance just got more annoyed and asked me to just try to be a bit more agreeable. The whole thing was just kind of weirding me out, so I called an Uber and went home. Now things are real tense between me and my fiance since he now says I made a bad impression by acting like I was too good for their family tradition. Top comment here, WTF, NTA, this doesn't seem like it could possibly be real, but I also don't know how you'd come up with this, so I'm inclined to believe you. NTA, I would have noped right out of there too. And if I were you, I would tell your fiance that I am too good for their family tradition because it's honestly weird and trashy.
Let me go first by letting you know one thing and one thing. I don't want you to get confused as to thinking that I'm too good for this tradition. I am too good for this tradition. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That's why I don't think it's real. I'm not taking my drawers off in front of your family and having some random people messing around with my underwear that has, by the way, has been wriggling around other people's underwear, yeah, no, that ain't finna happen. I'd rather not even eat with you. Y'all can have a good old time. I'm finna go ahead and hit up Mickey D's real quick and head on home. Y'all little freaks of family can do whatever the hell y'all want to do. Oh, by the way, there is no wedding. I don't want to marry to something like this.
I agree with what he just said because straight up and down, first of all, what if somebody got a bad booty? You know what I'm saying? Back to the booty now. You got a bad booty, no, because now you got streak marks in the
Yeah, you got
drawers. We
street
supposed to be getting
marks,
ready to
and people
eat.
don't know how
You
to
know what I'm
wipe.
saying?
Yep.
People got a rash, and now you know what I'm saying. Am I supposed to put these drawers back on? We're gonna go to wash these things. You're like, there's too much going on. I can't raise a child in my small apartment with you, in knowing that they part of this family. So we need to go ahead and break up because I can't afford to buy a house for your nasty family to come over. And no, the bus stops here. If you could please tell your cousins to stop kissing and making out in the corner, I would really appreciate that. And yeah, it's been real. It's been real. Real strange.
I got so many questions. This is obviously fake. There's no way there's some family in America, and I'm assuming he's in the USA, because what other country could be that stupid? Gotta be. Um, do they wash the
It could be that stupid, but yeah.
first of all, do they wash the underwear, or do they just take the underwear off and then put it in the
Tracy,
pile?
this is my problem with what you're saying. This is my problem with what you're saying. I have no business asking these questions.
No, but I want to. Okay, so let's just assume that they wash the underwear first. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. They
Okay.
wash them first. I'm hoping they wash them first. Hoping they wash them first. So they put them in the pile. So if you got Grandma Big Hipped over there, and she the biggest one, she gets to eat first. And then if you got a little bitty baby Bronny, he eats last because he has the smallest pair. Why don't you just fix enough food for everybody in the first place?
Right. This Hunger Games family tradition is ridiculous.
And
Okay.
you know he's gonna want to continue that stupid tradition when he gets married. I ain't marrying into this family. No, thank you.
Nope.
Bye. See
You
you. No.
so funny, and dude. I'm gonna tell you right now, you so funny. I'm so offended. I don't give a fuck.
I
offended.
offended your
Be very
inbred
offended.
backwards ass family. They need to be offended.
Listen here, this ain't the Hatfields versus the McCoys. You better go on somewhere.
They offended me first.
Because here's how I like to always play these games with people.
I don't
Oh,
play.
you play this game? I don't play this game.
Yeah. This is what I do. This is what I always do. I always sit there and go, who the hell thought this up? Now, I know everybody likes to play, this is a thing that's going on. No, you literally said this was a tradition. Who the fuck thought this up?
I don't care.
Okay.
And then what family members thought,
yeah, let's pull off our underwear.
I just solved it.
And then blindfold each other. What?
I just solved it. Okay.
Branch is a one twig going up and down.
I was trying to figure out how to make this game make more sense.
It doesn't.
Because like what Tracy said was like perfect, right? Because you should be able to just look at the room. You can read the room and see who got the big draws versus the small draws. Unless you spice it up a little bit. So you don't know who's wearing a thong. You don't know, like, are we doing like the weight of the draws or just like the girth of the draws? Or you know what I'm saying? Because like you can have on a thong and it might have the long waistband for a bigger body, but it's really a smaller pair of underwear than little Johnny's underoos that, right? Or somebody's wearing like the boy shorts. So there's ways and then the person what about mama who cooked the food? She don't even wear draws. So it's like there's so much that you could go into this
Your family,
nastiness.
your
This
family
is the.
tree is a wreath.
Around
I just
food.
want to know when the cousins are gonna marry each other because this don't make no dang on
It
sense.
don't matter. I'm not. Hey, I don't want to know
It's
when.
like drawing straws. If you
I
drew
don't want to
straws to
know.
see who was eating first, I would still leave because you trifling. Make enough food in the first place. That way, you don't have to make everybody
Hey,
play.
we don't
Who
We
know
wants
where
spent
to
you're
all
going.
the money on the draws.
Who wants to eat dinner tonight? Let's draw straws. No, I got it. Let's take
Nah,
our underwears off and then put them in a pile and put a blindfold on.
I guarantee you, y'all gonna be looking at me really strangely as I creepily moonwalk out the door.
No, I ain't creepily moonwalk. I'm just flat out turning around and leaving. That's
Yeah,
what
you
I'm
gonna
doing.
know I left.
You sure
You
gonna know I
know,
left.
you,
Yeah, trifling. Y'all nasty. Y'all nasty.
I just feel saying, you nasties.
you tell your family they're gonna need to go ahead and hold a
And that would
circle
be
of healing because I'm out.
ask
You know
how
what I'm saying?
quickly that be ex fiance. Why you leave me? Cause your family is nasty. That's why.
And I
Well,
dare you. I dare you to go tell your friends and family why I left you.
I
I
I
t-
promise I'm
dare
gonna
you.
keep this one quiet.
you better
Yeah, I
keep it
know. That's
quiet.
what I mean. I dare you to go tell your friends and family why I left you. Because your family is a bunch of draw lovers.
Who said that this is fake? There's no way this is real.
But
No
I do
way.
believe this is
Now
fake,
it
though.
could be real. Now it could be real.
I do.
People have different customs. All I'm
No,
saying
see,
is this custom ain't for me.
let's say you went over to like the family next door. They invite you and your family over for not Thanksgiving, Christmas, because that Christmas. And
Right.
they say, yeah, we all take our underwear off and put it in a. That ain't.
Right. But so that's the wrong house to go to. That'd be the last time I come to your Christmas party. But then let's say you go to the next Christmas party and everything seems normal. But when they bring out what normally would be the Christmas ham, it's the Christmas cat.
All I,
Different people do different
No,
things.
people. This
all
is
I
where
want
you
to. We're gonna
start.
go ahead
See,
and move on because all I really want to know is all the Christmas music being played on a banjo.
I'm just want to know, and how
That's
many
just
teeth do
rude.
how many
That's
teeth do
just
these people
rude.
have? I want to know, do they
Give
play
a
the
damn.
banjo
Fuck.
on on the front porch, or is it like cold? Is it
I'm
too
just saying,
cold?
you know, at the end of the day, everything ain't for everybody.
It sure
And
isn't.
he's good for recognizing that this ain't for him.
All right, everybody, let's move on before the itsy bitsy spider grows down the water spout. Foxy's videos of the week. All right, we got 2 weeks before Black History Month. 2 more weekends. Technically, we actually got 1 more weekend because we all know that I always take the last weekend off. So I'm preparing, like I said, for the longest time for Black History Month to go into a deeper dive than what we normally have done with the whole. I don't have to explain it again. We're doing a more deeper dive for Black History Month. So and I hate to say the word condition, but it is kind of what I'm trying to do is condition to you to what I'm actually going for. These are some of the stories that I'm getting into. So let's go ahead and get into the first one, which is a question that was given to white people in 1963.
But when white folks were asked that question in 1963, when it was happening, when it was the present, not 60 years in the rearview mirror, and they were asked it by the Gallup organization in that year. The question was, do you believe black folks are treated equally in your community in education, housing, and employment? Now, come on, y'all. It's 1963. We know the answer. This is before the Civil Rights Act, before the Voting Rights Act, before the Fair Housing Act. It is the year of the March on Washington, the year that Medgar Evers is shot down dead in his driveway in Jackson, Mississippi, the year that Governor Wallace stands in the schoolhouse door at the University of Alabama and says, segregation today, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. It is the year that he turns those dogs and water cannons in Birmingham on those children at the behest of Bull Connor. So we know the answer to the question. This is not a hard pop quiz. The answer is no, but what do you think white Americans in 1963 said? 2 out of 3 answered the question yes. Everything here is fine. There is nothing to see. There are only 2 possible explanations for why the vast majority of white folks couldn't see the truth. Explanation number 1 is that white folks are just so stupid and ignorant and cold-hearted that they just can't see or just refuse to see. I don't happen to believe that's true. I think there's an easier and a more disturbing answer to the question, and it's about privilege. The reason white folks didn't know is because they didn't have to know.
So, like I said, we're going to go into a more deeper dive. And I want you to understand when these questions are going on then and going on now. Why I said I'm going into a deeper dive, because everybody wants to give that. This is the reason why. This is the answer. And I try to tell people all the time, it's layers to what the answer is. Because you're asking different people who grew up in different ways. Now, the easier route to always say is because they're racist. Yeah. And I honestly, to a fault, believe that honestly is second best answer, or the second best reason. That racism is the second best reason of why they feel that way. I've always felt like the first reason was it don't affect me.
Yep.
It's not going to affect me in any way what happens to those people, and they will feel this way if you were saying the same question of poor white people. Their own race.
No, ain't gonna say quite the same thing.
They look.
There's layers to this, like you said.
It is, and I know I can break that down too, but I don't have the brain power right now because it's getting late for me, and I'm going to sleep late tomorrow. But my point is so many layers to it. Why I said I want y'all to get conditioned into. We're not just going to get into this little formulated stuff that we always talk about, always discuss. Always give the same answer. Always this, we're going to yell at the top of our lungs and everything else. No, we're going to be starting going to some real deep diving into some of these things. So if you're going to come up with the whole, it's racism. Okay, explain that. It's racism. Okay, I'm going to need you to go sit down and I'm going to need you to go listen. Don't walk away. Just listen. Because you're right and you're half right. It's more to it.
It is, but it's like I think that's why I'm glad you're going to go down that path, because there's different ways to come at these topics, and depends on you guys. If you've been watching the show for some years, you know how I am. It depends on the mood that I'm in and how the conversation is flowing, how I'm going to approach it. Right. I'm not here to teach, saying white people how to appreciate black people. That's not my thing. I can give a rat's ass about that. I'm past that. But I do think that it's important to, if you actually want to get at it, if you really want to get at it, it's important to first hit that first barrier that you were talking about, Marlon, where we reflectively just say it's racist. And then inspect that a little bit more. Right? Because calling things racist, even if it is true that something is manifesting as racist, that doesn't necessarily mean that's the motivation for how we got there. Right? So a person's outlook or behavior can manifest as racist, but really what it is it's selfish. Or really what it is they are misled. Or really what it is they're scared. Or really, like, there's so many things that'll bring a person to racist behavior because that's why we always had that conflict when you're trying to talk to certain groups of people, where they're like, "Well, I'm not racist. I don't have a racist bone in my body." Okay, but how would you feel if your daughter brought home a white boy or your daughter brought home a black man, right? How would you feel, right? How would that really interrupt or affect you? You know, it's so sometimes it's like it's easy to just flag it off as racist, and some things are. Like nowadays, if you are still supporting Trump at this particular stage of the game, you may not be racist, but it means that you're 100% comfortable with interacting with racists because you know for a fact that Nazi sympathizers align with his campaign. You know for a fact that white supremacists align with his campaign, that Christian nationalists align with his campaign, right? You know for a fact that these groups hail his campaign over anyone else's. They don't want to deal with the Democrats. They don't want to deal with the squishy Republicans. They don't want to deal with anybody except Trump and maybe DeSantis. And when that's the case, and you yourself are a decent person, and you do not go through life hating on everybody who doesn't look like you, but you feel comfortable in a group that is comprised of these things, then you have to look at yourself, because there's something about them you see in yourself that you're willing to attach to, that it doesn't make you just revolt against the idea of being associated with these groups, right? So now you yourself don't walk around and say the N-word. You yourself go to work each day and interact with people who don't look like you, and you do just fine. You even go to lunch and you have great conversations and interactions and all those things. But when it's time for you to vote, you actively vote in a way that will harm other groups. And it's not even hidden. Like, that's, to me, that's actually worse than the avowed racist. The avowed racist knows why he's doing what he's doing. Okay? You still lying to yourself. You still saying, I like the tax policy. What? So all this stuff is about the tax policy? Okay. Or you still saying it's about, abortion? That's your single issue. Oh.
Border control.
All the rest of the stuff you good with? Or yeah, I get that one here more recently in some interactions where they're like, all things aside, we have to get immigration under control and look at the border. And I'm like,
we do.
I agree. We do. But if that is your selling point for Trump, here's what you just said to me. You're okay with forcibly separating people from their children. You're okay with not just forcibly separating from people from their children, but not even having a way to put them back together later after you decided who you're deporting. So you are okay with that. We're not going to do the whole kids in cages thing. I am telling you, part of their policy that they stated was family separation. And if you say Trump managed the border better than Biden, that's how he did it. And he cut off the flow of immigration from other countries other than Europe and Australia. So hear what you're actually saying. Right? We're not going to let you get away with, well, it's just we had lower border encroachment. We did, but how matters. And it's also relative as well, because Biden had a good period of time where it wasn't that high. And then he had a period of time where it's stupid high. And we do this like seasonal. It's almost like apples on a tree. This thing rotates. But if we are constantly disrupting the rest of the world so that we can make sure we have low oil prices and low fuel prices and low commodities prices and all of these things, that means we're disrupting them for our convenience. And then where do you think that they go? They're going to go where it's more convenient. That's where you told them to go. So, yeah, I got some solutions for the immigration situation. Not going to go through it, but I got some. and some of it's conservative and some of it's liberal.
All right. Let us move on to the next video. Like I said, we're still in the conditioning thing. I'm not going to take anybody down because it's 39 seconds, but it really hits the home. One of my favorite actors of all time, Denzel Washington.
Why did he need a black director? Could a white director not have?
It's not
produced this
color,
work?
it's culture.
Explain the difference, because I think we're
Steven
in a space
Spielberg
right
did Schindler's List.
now. Mm-hmm.
Martin Scorsese did Goodfellas, right? Steven Spielberg could direct Goodfellas. Martin Scorsese probably could have done a good job with Schindler's List, but there are cultural differences. You know, I know, you know, we all know what it is when a hot comb hits your hair on a Sunday morning, what it smells like.
Huh?
That's a cultural difference, not just a color difference.
All right.
So it's the culture.
So, first of all, this is why I like Denzel, because that dude been now. Granted, I'm gonna say something, and somebody gonna find some doggone interview that he did in 19 something that said something whatever. As far as I'm concerned, Denzel ain't never changed his stance whatsoever, and the more popular he got, the richer he got, the more influence he got. He's never changed his stance on anything that had anything to do with black culture, ever. You may not agree with what he said, but please believe what you agree with, and him just straight up, backpedaling. If you don't know by now, then please watch Black History Month and you'll learn the difference. It's not color, it's culture. We're going to get into another deep dive on situations like that.
I think there's a thin line.
It's a thin line, but then
and
again,
context is super important, right? So like he says that
is we're doing a deeper dive, because remember what I said. No, you probably don't, because I don't think I've ever said that on the show. A while back, I was a real big fan of Snap. And if anybody don't know what that is, that was the show.
Is that when the wife kills the other?
Yeah, it was always the woman against the man that kills them, and blah blah blah. And you go through it was a whole bunch of crime detective type things, Snap, Forensic Files, those type of shows. And I was always into Snap. And basically, I would never forget the story of the influential black family in this small culture, rich black family. And of course, let's just skip to the end of the whole concept. The black woman killed the black man. And the part that stood out to me was, and the police called the house and said, hey, we're going to charge you. The police are talking to the father. Hey, we're going to charge your daughter for murder. So we're letting you know that you need to get yourself together and get your attorney together and come down to the police department. We're just giving you the heads up. And for the first 3 seconds, I went, the hell did I just hear? Because my culture is telling you there is no phone call. There is no chance to get yourself together. My culture is telling me they're coming, and I would be polite and say, knock on your door. Hell, maybe. Because the next second knock is going to be with a ram knocking down my door, throwing me on the ground, handcuffing me, yanking me out of the house, putting me in the back of the squad car, And as I'm trying to tell you what the hell is going on, they're not answering any damn question. All of this is not likely. That's my culture. That's what I grew up with. Their culture is, I'm going to call you to give you a chance to get your things in order. Yeah. No. I was dumbfounded.
Well, to help clear that up a little bit, it's about where you stand in the privilege chain, right? And that's kind of what you're hitting on. And like that's not our, not to fence with the words, but it's like that's not our culture. That's their culture. Everything you just said was the dominant white culture towards other groups. Being unfairly treated by the justice system, that's not our culture. That is what we experience as an offshoot of their culture, right? Like that we kind of find a way to laugh about difficult situations, or we throw the big party when you come out of jail, or that's our culture, right? When a loved one dies, we put you on a t-shirt. That's our culture, right? But the abuse that is visited upon us, that ain't ours, man. Like, but yeah. So like when you were saying that's weird, or it's not weird because you're aware of it, but it's like, for real, like they gonna basically invite you to turn yourself in, but that's a level of privilege, because odds are, very much the odds are, that particular family is either prominent or decently known. So that's why they get extended that courtesy.
Yep.
Right? Or they know that family is going to have a lawyer. So let's just go ahead and get this rolling up front. Right? So that's probably that. But when they're dealing with our community, odds are very low that we're going to have a lawyer on standby. Odds are very low that no matter what our standing is, that we're going to get any real like privileges or basis, right? So they just come get us, But if we knew our rights better and we lobbied our resources, and so that it became basically known in your town, which is something I'm working on, y'all. If it becomes known in your town that when you feel like you got to go get Marlon or you got to go get Theus, there's a whole community behind that. So that in order to even touch that family, no matter what you think they did or didn't do, there will be lawyers, right? Because we're pulling resources from multiple parts of the community that is always on standby for such an occasion for the members of said community. One of the reasons we get abused in the way that we do, one is because we're vicious and hostile, but the other side is because we're defenseless. America has proven that they respect a threat and they respect money. If you don't pose a threat and you don't have money, they're not worried about you. They're coming at you full force because there ain't nothing you can do about it. But if they worried about this is going to end up on CNN and we're going to be sitting in and dealing with lawyers behind every single case, and they back up. They back up a little bit. The onslaught's still going to come because we have cultural issues, like you were pointing out. We do have cultural issues where the dominant group is just out to dominate. So there's things you're going to deal with there, but it's all about being able to fight back, and I think that's super important. But the only way to get there is we have to start to see each other and work with each other and build senses of community. And one level of community is identity, but another level of community is thought process and ideology. And that's where I've personally grown in the last couple of years, where it's not just the identity part. Now I'm looking at thought processes and ideology, because while there are certain things that are identity driven to build that cohesion that we talk about, the ideology part is super important, because, you know, you got trouble and Anna and her crew shows up, they can use their privilege to your benefit.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? It's wrong that they have the privilege, but they got it. So if you have the right people in your circle who can come and use their privilege to your benefit, that's best for all people, right? Or if you have people like, if Anna's just trying to help get people registered to vote, help them get, voter ID, help them get their transportation and stuff situated and all of that. Well, when she goes into a community and they look at her and they say, wait, you're an outsider, that's where she has relationships because of ideology, where she can call on Marlon, and Marlon is there and he joins that group. So now she's lent credibility to do her work in a community that is going to be suspicious of her, right? So we have to get to that point where we can do that on multiple levels. So I don't know. Long answer to a weird question. I apologize. I'll say it again.
I love it. I can't wait to dig more into what you're doing at our United Core.
I can't wait. It's gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
Putting it in the atmosphere. All right.
Yeah, I had a great meeting yesterday, and I swear, man, one of my homeboys, mind blown, man. He's like dropped some stuff on me that I hadn't even considered.
Nice.
Good. Just let me know. Let me know. It's ready to go. Let me know. I'll blast that sucker out as far as I possibly can. Just let me know.
Appreciate it. Got some more work to do.
One of my speakers of all time is the next video. James Baldwin. Is one of those things that we've said before in the past, and these have given the Malcolm X, the whole Malcolm X saying. I'm just gonna paraphrase that this is the part where you standing in front of a horde of snakes. You ain't got no time to try to question each and every one of them to figure out which one of them is gonna bite you.
Yeah, that was Muhammad Ali. Yep.
Oh, that was Muhammad Ali. Oh, for the longest time, I thought that was Malcolm X. Wow. Show my anti-blackness. That's not good.
You don't stop.
So this is one of my favorite. It's not even a speech. It's just him speaking, which is what I love so much about James Baldwin.
What you're asking me to do something impossible. You're asking me to take the will for the deed. I don't know what most white people in this country feel, but I can only include what they feel from the state of their institutions. I don't know if white Christians hate Negroes or not, but I know that we have a Christian church which is white and a Christian church which is black. I know, as Malcolm X once put it, the most neglected hour in American life is high noon on Sunday. That says a great deal for me about a Christian nation. It means that I can't afford to trust most white Christians, and certainly cannot trust the Christian church. I don't know whether the labor unions and their bosses really hate me. That doesn't matter, but I know I'm not in their union. I don't know if the real estate lobby is anything against black people, but I know the real estate lobbies keep me in the ghetto. I don't know if the Board of Education hates black people, but I know the textbooks they give my children to read and the schools that we have to go to. Now, this is the evidence. You want me to make an act of faith, risking myself, my wife, my woman, my sister, my children, on some idealism which you assure me exists in America, which I have never seen.
Yep.
So here's the deal.
I'm different.
This is the deal where I'll be that we're going to go into next month. I don't need to point out each and every thing that's wrong with society when it comes to the black community, when I can point out one or two things that we go through just to satisfy you. Because I know where you're going with this. That is for everybody else that's going to be watching the show. That literally was a shot to you. Because you're going to come on this show and go, yeah, but I'm not going to play that game with you. I'm literally not going to play a game with you that even if I'm right and you're wrong, it doesn't affect you. If you're wrong and I'm right, it don't affect you. So why are we playing this game? Why do I have to satisfy your quench for knowledge when there's books, when there's videos, where there's YouTube, where there's a slew of information? Google all you want to of all the information that we have been telling you on this show going on 4 years. And you think I'm going to waste my time trying to explain one situation where I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you're going to move the goalposts? Don't waste my time.
And that's the point that I'm often trying to raise. And I know sometimes it comes across somewhat abrasive or what have you.
I don't give a damn about
I don't
being
apologize for it, but I do explain why it is, right? I am not your Negro whisperer. Okay. Outside of the cultural things that I've learned because it's part of living in the skin, the factual things, the reference points that I use, all of these things are things I've learned, right? Listening to videos, reading books, being, questioning elders. These are all things that people can do. So don't come to me to give you the shortcut to what I had to spend time to learn. I'm not here to make you feel better about being white. I am not here to explain why being black is not what you think it is. That's not my mission, right? My mission is multiple, but at the core of it is to educate, uplift, and advance my community so we can be in a better competitive position relative to all of our peers. That's like number one. Number two is to advocate for any and all vulnerable people and groups who are trying to navigate this thing we call the American dream. I don't care if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian. If you fall in a vulnerable group, you're in the marginal middle class. You are trying your best and you know how that's working out. I'm here to help you as well. But what I'm not here to do is mix those two in such a way that I help you feel better about being you. That's your job. That ain't my job. Right? So don't want to get into the conversation of, well, my family never owned slaves. Well, congratulations. I don't care. Right? I mean, because I'm not coming at you like that. I'm not holding you personally responsible for something your grandma or great grandma or third grandma down the road. No. What I am going to challenge you on is as an individual for who you say you are and what you say you believe. And I will constantly do this to you. I don't care who you are. You say you believe something, I'm going to hold you to the standards of the belief system you say you believe in. Not what I say I believe in. What you say. You profess to be this thing, you have to live up to that. And I'm going to call you on it when you don't. Because as an individual, how are you playing your role? How are you advocating for other people if you say that's what you want to do? How are you learning about other groups and cultures? How are you trying to use your privilege not as a sackcloth and ashes moment, but more as a how do I do this for the goodwill of all mankind? That's what's more important to me. But Steve.
And let me go ahead and give you a sneak peek into next month. And it literally just popped in my head from what Thea said. When you say Well, my parents, my grandparents, my great grandparents in the old slaves. Okay, cool. So what you're saying is what happened in the past should determine what's happening in the present. Yes, yes. And my great grandparents were slaves, so it shouldn't affect me. Cool. Let's pivot that then. So the past does matter. No, whoa, 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 whoa. You just said your past dictates your present, but our past does not dictate our presence. This is where we're going to go in February, folks. Like Dusty says, game on. You want to go that route? Let's go there. Number 2, Parker, I appreciate you trying to give me the save. I appreciate it. Malcolm LX. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Parker. I'll take the L. I'll take the L. I really not even said Malcolm X for the longest time, but I appreciate you trying to save me. Let me see. Yeah, they didn't finish the sentence. Yeah, I personally don't own slaves, but you benefited from the 150 years of the aftermath. I am going to literally do my best. I can only say that. Literally do my best to look up the theist when he broke down how much land cost centuries ago or a century ago, and how much that land costs today, and tell me once he had done the math and brought it up, that was not a benefit. And you will be amazed at what BS that logic was.
Well, and the funny thing is, and one of the things Anna hit, she said this a few minutes ago, where she was saying ignorance, right? And you got to look at the term of ignorance, right? So if you don't know, and it's not malicious, you are acting off of what you have been programmed or taught. That's ignorance because you don't know. Now, if you insert malice into it, I don't care if you were ignorant that how got you there. Once you add the malice, now you have intention, and it's a whole different game. Or if, despite having access to the information, you choose ignorance, because a lot of us would do that every day. We choose the ignorance. That's a different story. And I think that's really important that we kind of keep that in mind as we navigate some of these spaces and decide what it is that we really want out of these discussions. And that would be one of the questions. Like what does the person, what does the group want out of the discussions? And I don't know the answer to that.
February is going to be very interesting. I'm almost done with all my research. I'm not gonna
You
lie.
ain't even told us what to look up.
For what?
We don't know what angle you taking. Like the crew has no idea unless I just missed the meeting.
What the hell would I tell
the meeting
that for?
No.
You don't look it up even after I tell you this is the subject.
But you said this is more targeted. So I was just saying that. I'm sorry, sir. I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah,
I apologize.
You are absolutely right. You shouldn't have said nothing. I have literally sat there and said, look at the title of the show that we're doing tonight.
What you got to do with a month from now?
Like Tracy, every other show videos. Oh my God, it's going into Sunday. How many more videos? I told you, Tracy, how many videos?
Yeah, but sometimes you be talking extra and it's not necessary.
We've always been talking extra. Again, this is like deep marriage. It's been 4 years. When have we not? What the first? I can't even say the first year. That's not even true. We could take a butt conversation and make it a 40-minute conversation. So
we did not talk 40 minutes about butts. We talked maybe 10. 10.
Oh no. Okay,
That was
I
10.
guarantee you, I'm going to do the editing on it. I'm going to let you know exactly how long we did talk about it.
Did we ever determine what was the best glaze for the butt cake?
No.
Nope, and we're not going to now.
The way I kind of understood the topic very broadly,
Oh, you mean the
Black
Black
history.
History? Oh, okay.
And so
Yeah.
personally, I have gone into a couple of people that I had not learned about in the past. I have a couple of specific sayings that I'd like to talk about, break down, talk about the deep implications. Um, I haven't like thought of should I look at any kind of videos or anything, but I pretty much thought you were saying, go out there and do what you do. Bring back
Yeah.
what you love, what speaks to you, what
It will, and I'm messing with this, but this
I'm
no.
with you, Anna. I'll do that. Thank you for giving me some guidance and some signposts to chase behind,
Now I ain't
as
gonna lie, I'm
opposed
probably
to
not gonna
just be
do
ready.
it
We gonna do something.
because
You
I'm
know,
incredibly lazy. I'm just not.
I'll
I'm.
take care
one of
of
the
it.
hardest working people on the panel. You talk about
I don't
Literally,
do no research. I'm like, what's the topic? Okay, whatever. Let's go.
and
me too, Tracy.
this has this whole. I'm so innocent, but this is the master of coming off the cuff. Like I literally can tell you, I can literally tell Theus what the subject is, and I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt, Theus is still not going to look it up because Theus probably already have knowledge of it anyway. But Theus is not a. I'm going to research it and I'm going to say this and this and this is my bullet point and I'm going. That's not Theus's thing. Theus is a phenomenal off the cuff talker. I can't do that. I'm not an off the cuff talker, and when I am, it's because I'm giving a rant, and by that time I don't give a damn who I'm insulting anyway. But I don't want to be that type of person. Theus, on the other hand, already have these knowledges, already have this knowledge, and he
Yeah, you can tell he's hungry
comes
because he
off
ain't just putting
and
apples.
he goes on a rant, but it's spot on.
you stay focused.
He
That's what
literally does.
amazes me.
It is the most amazing thing that you've ever seen. That Theus never goes off on a rant somewhere else, unless we're talking
Well,
about
sometimes I get out there.
everything else, and then I
Well,
have no idea what the hell he's talking about. But when it's talking about Black culture and the Black community, it's perfect. If he's talking about butt and draws, I so much just want to shut the damn show down.
I think I brought some really good points about the butt and the draw.
You didn't. Just to let you know, so you can go to sleep on that knowledge that you didn't.
Apple. Yep.
I still want to know what an apple cake is. Yeah, I'm too lazy. I just like nope. I'm not gonna do it.
And honestly, I'm just lucky because I'm wired weird. Like when y'all talk about some of the entertainment topics that you try to raise, I always go serious because I don't know that stuff.
And I try to be
Like I
balanced
just don't
so
know.
I don't overdrive myself with politics all the time. I'm like, okay, I'm tired of saying the same thing over and over and over again. Let me talk about my favorite cereals. And let's go.
That's good. And that's what Saturday Night Vibe was really based on, because it is something to distract from everything that's reality and everything else. Radical Truth to Power have always been based on social, political, economical issues that we're dealing with today, the past, the present, and the future. Saturday Night Vibe is to liven it up a little bit, But if you actually read what I put underlined for the past year now, I'll literally say these are the Reddit stories that we're going to read today. But don't worry, we will make this political and social.
That's because y'all be doing that.
That's what we do.
I be throwing out stuff literally. I'm like, talk about this. I don't want to talk about it because I haven't seen it. Okay, I'm just trying.
Where's LL going with this?
Wash your
butts and draws, y'all.
Yes,
Okay.
you really should. Some people
She's
don't.
right.
Should.
I hope so. Okay.
Whatever you use, I don't know if it's a loofah or a rag, whatever it is, right? Make sure you don't just trust the water and the soap is going to run down your body. You got to put wipe between your cheeks. Get in there. Get down and make sure you take care of the undercarriage too. Get in there, man.
And rinse.
Yes, protect your body, man. Oh God.
Moisturize afterwards.
Yeah. And then go downstairs after you're nice and clean and smell all good and you put some lotion on and all that. Go on downstairs and open that cake plate and get you a nice piece of apple bottom booty cake.
She still was wrong for making that cake like that.
She really was. She really was. Like, you didn't even listen to yourself. You kept on asking the 4-year-old.
That's because she knew he was going to say something
Labor.
You back onto the story.
She wanted to make a butt cake. Let's just
She
be
really
real.
did. Yeah.
She wanted to make
think,
that
oh,
cake.
gee, let me not do this. He's only 4. What he gonna do? Remember it?
This is not what we mean when we say, be an awesome auntie.
Yeah, being an awesome auntie is sliding your child, your niece or nephew $20 when they're 8, 9, and 10, not when they're little.
It is being emotionally available. It is being there.
And sliding them $20.
Every once in a while.
I mean, you're right. Getting a little boost on their little savings account. But this is all about, she literally manipulated that child to go to war with her sister.
Yeah, really.
And the father, her brother, couldn't say nothing. He just, okay, whatever.
He might not have known, maybe. No.
It didn't sound like anybody else was quite there yet.
Hold on there. I know this is a last minute, but since MLK Day is tomorrow. Just wanted to share. I found that a poll done in 1968 after his death, 31% of Americans said that he had brought it upon himself.
His death, yes, that is absolutely true. And people treat Dr. King like he didn't mean not one thing, and you want to talk about something that irritates me. Oh, goodness. We can't just talk about Dr. King. He's Black history. What are you talking about? Yes, I can. Watch me.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and
you have
this is why it's super important for people to understand different perspectives. Whoever has the power to influence, getting the information out, which in this particular case is going to be your traditional white groups, your European groups, or it's going to be like your Jewish community. They control the outlets that tell the stories. We don't. Yep. Not historically, we haven't. So the narrative that has been sold to us through elementary school for the last 60 years, that wasn't orchestrated by us. That was, they took Dr. King's story and through their interpretation, sold it back to us. So they cleaned it up, scrubbed it up, made it so that it's all about, you always hear this one. Well, why can't we get to what Dr. King said and focus on the content of our character and not the cult, right? They always go there because that's convenient.
That's convenient. I'm like, why don't you listen to his speech that he gave about the Vietnam War and his opposition to? Why don't you listen to that? Why don't you listen
to the whole I have a dream speech, right? Or go to the letters from Birmingham jail. Like, there's so much to him, but when you control the narrative, you craft it so that it doesn't paint you in too bad of a light. So it always comes back to showing the white savior. It always does. That's one of the reasons I never really got into Roots. And that's one of the reasons why I got so upset with the Black Panther movie. Even though it was a great entertainment movie, it still was reinforcing the white savior motif. You know, like all this stuff going on, all this black excellence everybody was so proud of. At the end of the movie, if it wasn't for that white guy who just randomly was part of the story, you know, none of this quite would have worked out. So you still had to have a white hero at the end. And that's cool. It's great. Like this, it's a great movie. But that part of the story just kind of just stands out for me, right? So you look at Martin Luther King, they changed his story, watered it down so much, took all the revolutionary aspects of this great man and turned him into a conciliatory assimilationist, right? They took Malcolm X, all the complexity of Malcolm X, and they drilled it down to he was about violence, even though he himself in the Nation of Islam were never shown to have advocated or committed violence outside of the Nation of Islam. Didn't happen. And yet he's been repackaged for us as being the revolutionary problem, right? Marcus Garvey. Most people don't even know who he is.
Yeah,
That's
most
how
people
much
don't know
he's
who
been
he is. Yeah.
removed from the record, right?
Last year.
So there's so much that goes on, but when
Rosa
you don't
Parks
control your
beat her.
story,
That's why she
Rosa Parks, yeah, she was just some lady who didn't want to move, right?
No,
Like,
her liver retired, so she had to sit, and she.
And
No,
literally,
see what I'm
she was.
saying?
And what did I?
Muhammad Ali,
know last year? She wasn't the first.
right? It was an orchestrated campaign,
It was orchestrated. We know that, and hopefully
right?
more people
But
will know that. But
some of us know that. But even within our own community, many of us don't know it because we're all learning it from the same places. You know, like that's one thing I do say when I'm like kind of balancing out some of the communication here. Up until age 25, I give a lot of freedom and a lot of room for error for people who know or don't know, regardless of what your background is, because I know what you learned in school. I went to white schools my whole educational career. I know what you learned because they taught me what they taught you. So I understand that you don't know. I get it. And then I understand that you don't know more because what was the impetus for you to go and learn more? I wouldn't learn more because it disturbed my spirit. Because what you were telling me in school didn't line up with my lived experience, didn't line up with what I saw with the people around me, didn't line up with why my community is the way it is. So it created dissonance. So I went and learned some things. But if you come from the outside community, you're not getting dissonance. What you're getting is things were bad, but they're better. That's what you get. There's no dissonance there. You just think things were bad. We did some bad things in the past. Not doing those same bad things now. See, we're better. And then the dissonance that kicks in for you is when these groups who have it better now are still complaining. That's when the dissonance kicks in for you, and you end up going to war with that. So you're angry with that. How dare you not love this country that's giving you so much? Yes, the country didn't do your people right, but you yourself is done well, right? So you're battling with that. So it's like you have to understand the people who are in the game, understand where they're coming from, so that you can then be able to identify relatively quickly who's coming to you in good faith. Who's coming to you saying, I want to learn more about your experience versus tell me about your experience so I can tell you why you're wrong.
yeah, so
You know what I'm saying?
that's why I was like,
That's the deal. With I'm just giving you a fair warning about next month, 2 weeks from now.
I still think we do a disservice. Well, no, never mind. Keep going.
No,
I'm just giving you a fair warning what's going to happen in 2 weeks.
I think we do a disservice when we leave Dr. King out of Black History Month.
Oh, I'm not.
No, not we, the four of us. I mean, we, because everybody's like, we always talk about Dr. King. Why not?
Because this is
he's on the church fan. I don't understand this whole thing. Oh, Anna. Okay, so in the Black church, there's this fan, and it's RFK, which should really be replaced by Obama, but it's John F. Kennedy Jr.
Yep.
White Jesus, Dr. King, and somebody else.
Those are the main ones, ain't it?
Yeah.
I
And
thought there was just
so
three. I thought it was just on three.
I thought it was 4. Wait a minute,
Those are the
Dr.
3 that
King.
stand out to me.
Well,
I
it's
would say,
the
And then on the
things that
back
you
would be an
get from
advertising
church.
for a funeral home.
Yeah, on that back is the advertising for a
yeah.
funeral home. But so Dr. King is on that fan, right?
Prepare yourself,
So
man.
I'm just saying they don't got my. I respect Malcolm X, but he not on the church fan. Dr. King is the core of black to me. To me, he's the core of black history. Now I know there's Marcus Garvey, there's Fannie Lou Hamer, there's James Ellison,
More
there's
names you could ever name. Yeah.
more names than I could ever name. But I'm like,
First of all, Fannie Lou Hamer was not the core. As when it comes to teaching in there, it was Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, and I Have a Dream and everything else. You tell a black kid back in the 80s and 90s, Fannie Lou Hamer, and they'll look at you like who? So
or
no.
Shirley Chisholm.
But that's because it's a breakdown. There's a breakdown in how we educate each other. And
it surprises me what we don't know. Martin has oversaturated the conference. No, that's America. That's these politicians that use the content of our care. That's the only thing I'm dreading about tomorrow. I'm like, oh gosh, some.
Oh, it's going to be all over. I'm not even going to watch the news tomorrow.
Just going.
I won't do it.
I think I'm just going to watch old Dr. King speeches and just watch
The Radical Dr. King was a great book because it stitched together a lot of his letters.
And I'm going to go ahead and give you a sneak peek into it because I'm going to give you this background so we can go ahead and play this video. I mean, I don't even know why I'm rushing. I'm not waking up no time tomorrow early at all because I ain't got to work.
No, you're being fair.
I know. Let me go ahead and do it anyway. I will never forget the Facebook post after Trump lost the election. I will never forget it with somebody. I'm not going to say their name because I have no idea where he was coming from this. But in retrospect, he was saying stuff like, okay, now the election is over. Now we should come together as a nation. Now we should be together in peace. And we can. And I got so pissed off.
Is this after the Trump one or after the Biden one?
With
2020.
Biden won and Trump lost.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was so pissed off because I really wanted to go. And
now we need to come
second
together.
hour. Basically, Anna, now you want a fucking peace.
Yeah, they want none
Are you serious with what you're
before
saying?
or after January 6th?
It was.
I think it was before. Yeah.
It was before January 6th. It was before January 6th. So let's go ahead and add it. Are you fucking serious with what you're just saying right now? That now you want peace and harmony in the nations.
If you understand the reasoning behind why they say these things.
Let me say this real quick. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. will be shown next month. Not the I Have a Dream speech. And I'm still researching it because I'm really working on truly trying to find a video because I want the whole video show. Do not want to show the I Have a Dream speech. I want to show the speech where he said, I fear I have led my sheep to slaughter.
I've integrated into a burning house.
That's the speech I want to show. And I'm sure it's somewhere because Google has given me the whole speech and y'all want me to read it. Good luck with that. But I know somebody with a better speaking.
It's not going to be that one guy from last Black History Month.
Oh, goodness.
Don't have him. If he's on it, I'm out. I'm just totally out. That one guy that was narrating.
The one who's talking about the Black Panthers. And it was horrible. Oh, my.
Oh, don't worry about that because apparently if I show his videos, he'll shut down my whole video. So
good, sir,
you gotta worry about him no more.
Yeah, copyright.
Oh, he got action?
Yeah. You don't remember that?
I didn't know that. I didn't know they did that.
I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we got
Mickey
turned
came on
down.
and said your video has been shut down. And as soon as I stopped playing his video, the video came back up.
Yep.
So don't worry about him no more. He don't want his video shown. Okay. I don't see how
Might have been from the criticism.
revenue, but or his agency.
But no, yeah, but you know, really, I agree with you. I'm glad that you are bringing that forward. Thank you, Anna, for raising it. You know, to actually have a discussion about different things, as opposed to just this is my book report Easter speech type of thing. So no, really, I think this is important to get at some of the underlying messages and what is it that we can take away from things, and that really will help people like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Fannie Lou Hamer, Kwame Ture. You know, the list is endless. And one of the things I think is so valuable or important is that the movement is eternal. So we look back at the 60s because that was a flashpoint. But what we saw in the early 60s, that took 15 years to build up to that. And a lot of people died. A lot of people lost their livelihood. A lot of people suffered grievous injuries, emotional, physical, the whole nine. And we'll never know their names. We'll never know their story, you know. And I think it's so important that we not just fixate on the individuals, which was really important, individuals, but what was it that they were bringing forward? Because there's a clear line across history, you know, and like you just dropped some names, right? You got from the slave revolt times of Denmark, VC, and Nat Turner, and then you come into the Haitian revolt with LaFontaine. I can't remember his name. Then you move forward. Like if you look at it, the path, the fight for freedom is always happening.
Yeah.
And I was listening to an interview of a brother who was in the Black Liberation Army, and he was talking about how the story gets distorted because people simply don't know, right? And he's like, people think of slavery as though everybody was just taking this punishment. They don't know about the hundreds of slavery revolts over the life of slavery, right? They don't know about the times that slave ships, successful and unsuccessful, were tried to be taken over by the slaves fighting for their freedom. They don't know about the Deacons for Defense and the role that they played, which directly inspired the Black Panther Party and the Black Liberation Army. They don't understand the difference between the Black Panther Party and the Black Liberation Army. Like, there's so many stories because life is complicated and complex and it's running on multiple tracks at any time. And if you only are relying on the history that's handed to you, then what I would ask for you to do is look at who handed it to you. If someone is handing you a history and the author on that history or the publishers behind that history do not coincide with the subject matter of the history,
then why are you reading it?
You got to ask some questions, right? That doesn't mean you can't get good information out of it, right? But you need to ask some questions, and you need to ask yourself, why is it that I'm reading Mexican history, but I'm not hearing it from Mexican people?
Yep. And to think there's
Right?
people that want to whitewash the history.
Absolutely. Clean it up. Make it less.
No, make it less than it's already sanitized. They want to sanitize it even more.
Yeah.
They don't want to sanitize it, they want to erase it.
Yeah.
Well, if they can sanitize it, they prefer to do that. Because this one thing I did, I don't remember where I heard this, some time ago, but it's more effective to change the history than it is to hide the history. Because see, if you hide the history, it still exists somewhere. So eventually someone will find it. But if you can change the history, if I can change what you think you know about Martin Luther King, if I can change what you think you know about Malcolm, I can change what you think about Muhammad Ali. I can change what you think about Bill Cosby, whatever you feel of him. I can change how you feel about anybody throughout history. Then I don't need to hide the history. I've changed it.
Yeah.
Right? Now, all of a sudden, Martin Luther King is nothing but a guy who begged for peace.
Mm-hmm.
And don't we all love that type of Negro? And then you end up having a distortion. So now you think every time a black person raises their voice that they're not acting in the spirit of Martin Luther King.
Right.
Funny
Who
thing
said
that you
this?
said something
Go
like
ahead.
that, because if you was to dig a little deeper, white people, I'm questioning you. This is a man who's just want peace in our country. What seems to be the problem? I'm not going to argue with you, but I will just turn the question on to you. What was the problem? If that's all
Why
he
was
was
the
doing?
reaction such that it was?
Yeah.
You know,
What
and
was
that,
the problem? If that's what he was asking, and he still wasn't receiving it,
and he was the one they killed.
and he was the one that got killed.
Yeah.
Don't question us that we not acting in good faith of Dr. Martin Luther King. We're acting into, well, if this is a man who I'm gonna use your
Who did it the right way
logic of everything that you're saying, that all he wanted was peace, and he still didn't get it. Stop questioning the black community. Start looking at yourself as, if he's asking for it and not getting it, who wasn't getting it to him?
Well, here's another thing about it. Like, I'm sorry, Tracy. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, this is it's already frustrated me, and it's not even Dr. King's day yet. Because it really gets on my nerves how we have let, and this is in all parties, third party, two-party system, whatever. We've just let them just take what Dr. King did. Because think about it, Dr. King was not popular amongst black people.
No, he wasn't.
Among black people.
The majority, yeah.
The majority of black people. Parker just told us about a poll where 31% said he got what he deserved. What?
Well, those are white people. 68%, 67%. But the thing about it though is like, how you look at it. It's like, I don't even know how to really explain this very well. But Marlon, I'm sure you've had some version of this experience. Nearly every black parent has gone through this. Having to explain or try to find the words to help an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old, somewhere in that age bracket, help them understand, why do they hate us? What have we done? That is one of the most painful things that nearly every black parent has had to do at some point and had to have done for them. And you're talking to a child. So you're trying your best to comfort this child and explain to them why they're treated differently simply for existing, while not scaring them, while also teaching them, while protecting them. It's an impossible task. Mm-hmm. And then what do we hear from all of these school board things and all this rigmarole going on is, you're hurting the children and you're scaring the children. Wait a minute here. We have always had to have these discussions and many others with our children at the age of 6 to 12. And you're telling me that a child who benefits from the fruits of that era is too sensitive to hear about it and learn about it, but it's okay because you don't have a remedy for the children who are the inheritance of the opposite side. See, the opposite of privilege is not okay. The opposite of privilege is to be without.
Mhm.
So you inherited the wealth, we inherited the poverty. You inherited the freedom, we inherited conditions. You have always fought for your rights. We had to, no, correction. You have had to fight for your privileges. We had to first fight for our humanity, then fight for our rights. Then we ain't even got the privileges yet. So that's one reason this time of year really grinds my gears, and why I don't usually talk that much to members of the white community, well-meaning or not, because it's like ripping the Band-Aid off each year. There is a speech on, well, I'll probably get flagged if I say the name of it, but it's a James Baldwin speech, and it's Baldwin's N-word. It's on YouTube. And in that speech, he hits, I mean, the way he summarizes what it is to be a black parent. And in short, in a way of saying it, it is to have been fortunate enough to navigate the American system, especially as a black man, because I can't speak as a black woman, even though our paths in this life are very close together, and I wish we would understand that more, right? Nobody got it good. Nobody got it good. And we need to respect that and put our arms around each other instead of this finger pointing that we do. But that's a different discussion. But to have navigated this world to the point that you are, you're 30, 35 years old. You got nieces, nephews, or you have your own children. And to know for a fact that the reason that you have whatever you may not have much, but whatever you may have, the life that you are able to continue to live, you know for a fact that it was not because of you. You know for a fact that there have been countless people that you have known or known of who are not here today, or are locked away, or have lost their mind trying to navigate this world. So you know there's no blueprint that you can hand to your child or your niece or your nephew to say, this is how you get through this. This is how you get to where I am. Here's your guarantee or blueprint to get past me. You know that doesn't exist. And yet you still have to sell that to your child as though it does.
Yeah.
And you know that child will now have to be as lucky as you were to just get to where you are. And there's nothing you can do to help them. You can't protect them when they walk out that door. You can't be sure that your son is coming back every fucking day. You can't be sure that somebody ain't going to try to put their hands on your daughter. You don't know what they're going to have to run into. Well, you do know the different things that are out there, but you're powerless to do much about it. Because if you react, they'll lock you away too. And now who's there to look after your child? I can't explain that. I can't help you understand that for us. So don't fucking ask me to explain my experience to you every fucking year. It's just too much. It's too much. Go to the ones who want to do that shit. Because me personally, if you're not already on that tip where I can work with you, I'm ready to fight you. I'm ready to go in the trenches with you. I believe in that shit. I believe in the one that tells you that the person who's willing to kill you ain't ready to die. Well, if you're going to try to take mine, please believe my mama ain't the only one in a black dress. So understand the anger that you touch on. Understand the weakness that you expose. So now I ain't got a lot of patience for it, man. And there's probably going to be times I tap out of the conversation. But It's just, man, it's wild. And here we are going through a reverberation where well-meaning white folks will say some shit like, it's bad, but we'll get through it together. The fuck you talking about? We're gonna get through it together. Shit pop off,
You the first
you
one
get
out.
to hide.
Yeah, you sure do get to hide.
All you got to do is shut the hell up and hope it goes past you, because they don't know. But if they look at me, they know who I am. Look at what happened with the old dude who's a Trump supporter. You got Trump supporters who can't even go to Trump rallies. You got black Trump supporters who can't go to Trump rallies because their uniform, their skin makes them an outsider for a cause that they actually agree with. So when stuff pops off, man, that's all you're hearing is, if you really pay attention to some of the stuff going on, they all talking about this shit hits the fan and all that stuff. They really serious about this, y'all. And it's a small group, but it's a small group willing to do a lot of damage. So when you hear your black counterparts and friends saying stuff like, yeah, I'm thinking about moving here or moving there, and then when what they're naming is out of the country, they're not playing.
Mm-mm.
They may not be able to get out of the country, but they're expressing to you the fear that pervades every moment of our lives. And you can't relate to that. You just can't. I appreciate that you care, and that's super important. And I'm not downplaying that, but you can't relate to that, because at the end of the day, you don't have to go through it. You don't have to.
All right, let me say two things real quick so we can move on to the last video tonight. I know you all probably wanted to end the show off like 45 minutes ago, but I appreciate this extended conversation. When I tell you that February is going to blow the fuck up, I'm not joking. I don't know how many views we gonna get. I honestly don't know. I just really don't. But best believe when I tell you that I have been researching this all month long, I'm not pulling out the little bullshit little things that we've all read in the little books where we were sitting at the little desk that was connected to your chair. We're going to get us to some deep stuff. So just be prepared for that. Number two, I hate this whole fucking group of people that's on the panel right now, because we had some good shit at the beginning and some good shit in the end, and I have to go in the middle and try to edit out the butt shit that we brought up once again.
You ain't got to edit that out, man. That'd be a whole segment right there, man, because it's important.
You could call it. You could even call it. Look, here's what you call it. I like big butts, and I cannot lie.
Yeah. Or wait,
doing the butt.
But there's more.
I like doing the butt though. That's the one.
That is true, and it actually appeals to multiple audiences. You can take from it what you wish. It's a double entendre. I think that's a good one too. Doing the butt.
What? This video was about the
when he was talking about the black directors, and Parker, that movie he was talking about was The Raisin in the Sun, which he directed. Not Raisin in the Sun, Fences.
Fences, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes. The stage play is 10 times better than the movie. 20 times better than the movie.
Well, the stage play is classic. Yeah. Just like if you're watching, was it A Raisin in the Sun? The stage plays are always gonna kick the movie adaptations, but
Fences by August Wilson.
Fences. Okay, I'll look that up. All right, let's go ahead and get to the last video of the night.
A great American play.
So we've all of them had our drama and everything, and I knew it was going to go this route. So a special shout out to Diaz and Parker, because this is right up our alley. Now a special shout out to Tracy and Anna because of the talent. And Diaz, you wasn't here yesterday, but I have made a conscious decision to make sure that I show special talents that's been going out there. And man, I hate that you missed yesterday, because that dude playing that guitar yesterday was, whoo, that was phenomenal.
I could have thought he was playing at least 4 instruments, and he wasn't.
At the least, it sounded like that dude was at the least he was playing 2 or 3 instruments, and it was just the guitar. That dude was fantastic. The first one was sort of like, you just want to read through the dance. But so we got to remember that talent comes in different forms. So Anna and Tracy, you would understand the talent of mixing Diaz and Parker. You'll know the reason why I picked this video. Here we go.
Get props to hip hop, so hip hop parade. Ho, hey, ho, hey, ho, hey, ho, hip hop parade. This is how we do it.
Yeah, my homie wanted to do that for his wedding.
We
That
only
was
like
that was a
those
good
first 2
mix.
Star Wars, or the ones with Harrison Ford. Yeah, the ones with Harrison Ford, not them other ones.
Yeah, the new ones aren't as good, but I mean I liked pretty much all of them, but it's definitely the first 3 were.
Jar Jar Binks, you like that one?
I liked it. Like I didn't really like it because it's like it's hard. It's
Like
yeah.
racism on fleek, Jar Jar Binks.
I didn't take that one as racist. I just took them as stupid and annoying.
I have not seen any of the Star Wars
How?
movies
That's like
ever.
me saying, no, I ain't never seen Blazing Saddles, don't know what is the bell, where's the bed?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen Blazing Saddles. I just didn't really like it too much. Except for
Okay.
Oh, I love Blazing
Shorty,
Saddles.
whatever her name was, the dancer lady. I liked her.
Madeline Klein.
You are sitting there saying you didn't like Blazing Saddles, one of the funniest movies I have ever seen. I can literally watch it
I'll
back
take
to
it or
back
miss
to
it.
back to back.
Take it or leave it. I've watched it maybe twice. Like it's not something I'm gonna turn back on. But you know, because you got to. I like a lot of different types of humor, but it's like that type of humor it doesn't appeal to me. Like because I love Mel Blanc's movies, but it's just
Mel Blanc
that
or Mel
particular movie.
Brooks?
Mel Brooks, sorry.
I'm like, who's
But
I
Mel
love his.
Blanc?
You gotta remember
Mel-
that
I knew who you meant.
that Mel Brooks movie was written by Richard Pryor and a bunch of black writers, which, by the way, let me just throw this out here. Please stop thinking it was written by black people, so it couldn't be offensive. Yeah, it could be offensive.
That's what they wrote it for. They wrote
But
it to
Well, it was
be-
intentional.
essentially
Yeah,
a funny
yeah.
movie. That's why
That's what I'm saying. Like I get it,
Now,
and then the humor they were pointing at was really like it was racial humor to make you look at yourself. Like it was well done. I didn't really get into it.
But the TV show, we can all agree, was terrible.
Didn't even know the TV show. You told us about that. I didn't even know what happened.
Okay. It's the dumbest thing that happened. Okay, so Mel Brooks, CBS? Let's go with that. CBS wanted the rights to Blazing Saddles. But they said that they wanted all the rights to Blazing Saddles. Mel Brooks said, cool, whatever, knowing that there is absolutely positively no way you're going to show Blazing Saddles on national TV. So he said, sure, let's go for it. So what they did was they made a Blazing Saddles TV show
with Lou Gossett Jr.
with Lou Gossett Jr.
Hmm.
Here's the catch. To get the copyrights to Blazing Saddles, they said, we have to make a Blazing Saddles episode. They never said we have to show it. They never showed the Blazing Saddles.
And it took years for Mel Brooks to get the rights back. It took
Yeah,
years.
he finally did get the rights
He
back
finally
to it,
got
but
them
it was
back. I'm
like,
like, dude.
God, dog, that was nice. But it was like, you just said we had to make it, and we did.
Parker knows you a young child. You don't know no better.
Hmm?
Big
The Big
Lebowski was
Lebowski
funnier
was.
than I never saw the Big Lebowski.
I
It's
never
a
watched The
funny
Big
movie,
Lebowski.
but it's not.
Take
I
your
mean,
word.
it's not even funnier than what was that movie that Mel Brooks did with Frankenstein in the title? Oh,
Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein.
Spaceballs was funnier than
Spaceballs is awesome. One of the best movies ever. And in the history of the world, that was awesome. Those were fun too. And
The producers were
good
so
to be the
good.
king.
Okay. Here's my 4. Pulling a Tracy real quick. Here's my 4. Blazing Saddles, history of the world, Spaceballs, Young Frankenstein. Those are the 4 movies. In order.
See, I tried to go back and watch Young Frankenstein. It just didn't hit.
Oh boy.
Okay, in order.
I enjoyed it when I was younger, but
in order from bottom to top. History of the world, up 1 spot. Young Frankenstein, up 1 spot. Blazing Saddles, number 1. Spaceballs.
all right. Okay, here's mine. Okay. You said how many?
4.
4? All right.
He's still
Number
on the idea
1.
from my show when y'all used to show up.
No, start at number 4.
Yeah, start at 4.
Start at 4? Oh man, I don't know how to count that backwards.
Okay, history of the world, Blazing Saddles, Spaceballs.
I'm looking at his
get
movies right now. So I guess at the bottom of the list is probably going to be Blazing Saddles. I'm sorry, I got to go the other way. Number 1 is Spaceballs. Number 2 is Robin Hood Men in Tights.
He didn't even name Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Like
that was not a choice.
That was not a funny movie.
That wasn't even a
What?
choice.
Love that movie.
I liked it, but that wasn't even a choice. You got to name what's the choices that Marlon laid out. You can't just
only those 4? I thought it was you would name 4 movies.
I'll give it up to it, but I never thought that movie was funny at all. Like,
Man, I love that movie.
that was not a funny movie.
In History of the World. And I gotta find a 4th one.
Young Frankenstein?
See, Young Frankenstein is gonna be there by default because I'm looking at his other movies and they were all nope for me. Because I didn't know he did The Fly.
He did The Fly?
He
It
also
came
did
up
the
on his
TV show
list.
Get Smart, but nobody ever remembers he was one of the writers for Get Smart.
That honestly literally makes sense.
Guys, I have to call it. Peace out. I'm
All right,
Good night, Anna.
Anna, you take care. I'll
Take
see you
care,
next week.
Anna.
Thank you for coming on.
Love y'all.
Love you all.
Love you too.
Love you.
But check this out. This is what they say. I'm gonna tell you what Rotten Tomatoes says are the
Tomatoes
top
don't
4.
count.
They ain't got no taste. I don't know what they're doing here. Number 1, they put Young Frankenstein. Number 2, they put The Producers. I don't even know what that is.
Oh, I love the
I remember
producers.
the producers, and that was from a play.
It was a
But it had to be good because Gene Wilder was in it.
Gene Wilder was yes, that was a great
'Cause he was
play
great.
that turned into a musical that turned into a Broadway musical. So it didn't start
And
out
then-
a musical, but it went all color purple, but it was successful. Never mind, Tracy, shut up.
Number 3, Blazing Saddles. Number 4, The 12 Chairs.
I have never seen the 12 Chairs.
I don't know this one.
I don't know.
But it had Dom DeLuise in it.
Well, you knew it was
Then
good. Had to be funny. Dom DeLuise is in it.
Number 5 is silent movie. 6, high anxiety. Like where they getting these from?
Okay, let
They
me stop
going
you.
deep
Let
into
me
that
stop you real
profile.
quick. High Anxiety is actually Foxy's favorite movie.
Really? I've never heard of
I've
this.
never heard of it. I got her the CD for it, but she asked for it. I was like, I've never heard of this movie ever, but she loved that movie.
I wonder if it's like the inspiration for when Richard Pryor did his movie about being in. Remember, he was a criminal and he ended up in that hospital and he was trying to pretend to be a doctor so he could escape.
I don't know that one.
I only remember Richard Pryor in the toy in Superman 3. Oh, and Harlem Nights.
Yeah, the toy was good.
The toy
that's
was
definitely
terribly
trouble.
racist.
That was trouble.
I'm gonna own you.
Yeah, but it was. For some reason, I liked that one.
Yeah.
Well, Harlem Nights is epic.
Although critics didn't like it, I'm like, y'all don't know what y'all talking about.
But I did like Moving. Remember that one?
No, Parker. I kind of think at this point I'm just gonna wait till it goes on to HBO.
Probably Disney. Oh no, not Disney.
DC. Yeah, so I'm gonna wait till it comes on HBO. At this point in time, I'm watching Echo, and I watched the first chapter of it. The first
Echo good?
The first. Dude, I couldn't explain Echo to you in the time that we have now in a million years because I literally would have to go back into these Marvel history, and it's not worth it. So
yeah,
I would have. I'm going to wait till it comes on to HBO, and then I'm gonna watch it then because the bloom is gone.
Okay, when I get to do mine?
Hey, the movie was called Bustin' Loose.
Yeah, Bustin' Loose. With Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder was in it, wasn't he?
I don't know if he was in Bustin' Loose, but he was definitely in Hear No Evil, See No Evil. And I love that. I'm talking See No Evil, Hear No Evil. I love that.
That was a good. That was a
for
good
Mel
movie.
Brooks movie, so I can remember what order because I already know it's number one. But you gave us four Mel Brooks movies. You told us to put them in order, and then
If you really look deep into it, Richard Pryor and Gene Hackman did a lot of movies together.
Gene Wilder, not Gene Hackman.
Wilder. They were great. They were really good friends. They really clicked.
Gene Hackman was the
Superman. He was Lex Luthor.
Yeah, Superman.
He was Lex Luthor. Yeah.
Game that he did.
Yeah, he did Blue Chips with Bobby.
Blue Chips. Yeah, Blue Chips.
So
that's a Shaquille O'Neal movie, ain't it?
Yes.
We're all over the place. I'm sorry.
That was the Indiana basketball. Indiana college.
But I thought Shaq was in Blue Chips.
Shaq was in Blue Chips. So what you call it?
Way before even Shaq was even known.
No, he was a freshman in college.
Yeah,
he was really young. He was in that movie. Absolutely, positively, he was in that movie because I remember they filmed it. They filmed some parts of it in Indiana because they really wanted Bob Knight to play the coach.
Shaquille O'Neal was in a movie that was released in 1994.
Yeah, could have been. Yeah, 1994.
Yeah, he was.
I just put it. Yeah,
he was in Blue Chips.
Cast of Blue Chips: Nick Nolte, Shaquille O'Neal, Anthony Hall. They're the first three who pop up.
Yep. And Bob Knight was the coach of the other team.
God dog, I just brought the picture up. Yep.
So, anyways, my 4 movies so we can eventually go to sleep. So, number 4, you said History of the World. I only saw it one time, so that's number 4, just by default. Then, number 3, no, I'll take that back. Spaceballs is 4, because I'm with Parker.
I won't accept that.
This is my list. This is my list.
I can't accept that.
I don't care. It's my list. I'll do what I want to.
But you're wrong.
No, I'm not. Spaceballs was not funny to me. I'm just like, nope. It had funny parts, but it wasn't overall a funny movie. So I'm putting Spaceballs number 4.
It's the waffle all over again.
History of the World is number 3. I want to put
History of the World is above Spaceballs.
Yes.
Yeah. See,
number 3 No, number 3 was
Number
okay.
2.
So number 2, oh shoot, what was the other? Oh, Young
Young
Frankenstein,
Frankenstein.
and then number 1, Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, flip your list completely upside down,
And
and
then
maybe
and
we
then
can work
ball
with
it up
something.
and throw it in the
No,
trash.
because
That is awful.
Spaceballs was not funny to me. It's one of the few Mel Brooks movies I did not like.
Oh my goodness.
Young
It had
Young
Frankenstein
Rick
was a
Moranis
Frankenstein,
in it.
funny movie,
but
but
Young
by the middle
Frankenstein,
part,
it was
it just
it was
died
high
on me.
funny. It was like British comedy funny. It was like, oh,
Yeah,
you got to think
that's why I
about
didn't
it.
really get into it. It was a little too dry.
No,
But I
I'm
mean,
literally
you
gonna
had
tell
Rick Moranis and
where
you
it
had
died.
John Candy.
I'm literally gonna tell you where Young Frankenstein died at because I can't remember anything out there.
And the father from
Young
Everybody Loves
Frankenstein when they
Raymond
did the
was in there.
talent show, when they did the talent show
Yeah.
off the stage, it just died after that. Like I can't remember telling you what happened after that part of the
That
movie.
movie was so, it reminded me so much of a Britcom. I'm like, and I love Britcoms. Well, wait a minute,
Yeah,
let me
British
backtrack.
humor is so terrible to me.
I like some Britcoms. I don't like all of them. Because hell, honey, I'm home. I ain't on that. But some British comedies I love.
I can't do it. I honestly can't.
It's that
I
high.
can tell you.
Like
I can tell you
American humor
about
is more
Benny. I can tell you
slapstick.
about Benny Hill, which is probably the only closest thing you could get to me watching an English TV show.
That's because you had women in the underwear.
Exactly.
I watched the whole episode just to get to that part.
And we will not back down, which Marlon used to play.
Hey, what's that? Okay, since you like British comedy, because there's this other show that was actually kind of good. Um, it was based out of a department store.
Are You Being Served? One of my favorites.
That's a pretty good.
Is that still on?
No, that
It
show
comes on
was,
like like public broadcasting
Yeah,
TV
Marlon,
I mean,
that
sometimes.
are they showing reruns or is
yes,
still?
you could type it into YouTube. That's what I do Saturday.
No. I know it's still showing because my. This is shocking.
No,
to
they don't
everybody.
show Are You Being Served here in Indianapolis, so I had to go on YouTube, type in Are You Being Served, and that's how I watch all the episodes.
I found it on, I think, Roku TV, maybe. I don't know where I saw it.
My mom watches Are You Being Served? What
Love
I'm
that
asking
show.
is it still going on?
This no, not new shows. No.
Okay.
Yeah, because they tried to
it's-
make like
yeah.
they have an Australian version, like the
Don't
Golden
look-
Girls.
don't look
There's
like
a
that. Doctor Who is
there's
still
a-
going on?
there's a British version of the Golden Girls.
Why not?
There's a British version of the Cosby Show of Good Times called The Foster Family. You can pick out just who they talking about. I'm like, oh, that's JJ and that's Thelma.
Well, you got to be real careful when
Yeah,
you say the British
cool.
version of it because
No, it was basically it took place.
That's
in
what
a
they do.
slum.
I mean, we all do it.
That's what I'm saying. Is it a British version of Good Times or is Good Times a British version?
No,
So it's going to be the British version of Good Times.
Good
'Cause
Times.
whatever was the most popular and successful, that's,
we're
I don't
not
care if it
doing
came
no,
second.
no,
That's the one. I'm saying you can ask
No,
them.
that's what the
They
Fosters was.
They did like a Fresh Prince of Bel Air or some other type of
Yep.
show that's really popular, and they did their own version, and they were like, "Oh, Living Single." They were going to do a Living Single in Europe, and the cast found out about it, and they were like, "No, we're not going to be able to do that."
No,
I
they
think
just
it was Living
American.
Single.
No, they just moved to
But it
New
was
York
one
and
of
called
them-
their friends.
Because remember, Sanford is based off of a British
Steptoe and
TV
Son.
show. So,
Yeah, so I mean, you get inspired from different people. It's cool. I think that's pretty
I
cool.
have no problem with it. I just don't want anybody to go. I don't want to Americanize. Like,
No,
okay,
the
this show is
Fosters
everything
was
else.
the
Like,
British
no,
version
she took a
of
show
Good
from
Times.
England and made
They
it
literally took
American
Good Times
version.
and changed everybody. The father, they had father was named James, mother was named Florida. They may have changed Thelma, but
they
you
went
knew
hard. didn't
you
they?
knew just. I'm like, oh, that's Winona. They had Winona being the next door. I'm like, this is good. Just
What
type
was,
in
it,
the Foster.
what was James' original name?
Henry. Make me, because I've watched.
So I don't know stuff like that.
Okay, Florida. Surprisingly enough, for some people, Good Times is actually a spinoff.
A mod,
Yeah, came out of Maude.
which came out of
Florida's
our
husband.
Just
on
like Family Matters came out of Balky Bartaki with Perfect Strangers.
Perfect Strangers. Yeah. But on Mod, Florida's husband name was
Henry. And he was a firefighter. And he didn't like her working as a maid. And somehow they lived in New York. But when they got into good times, they moved to Chicago and was really poor. Oh, okay. Like we wasn't supposed to even know it. Okay.
Okay, let me ask this question real quick and then we got to go because I'm really trying to make it before 12 o'clock, truly, because I want to take advantage of not working tomorrow. Y'all do realize that I actually went through this when what was the second husband's name? Carl.
Oh, the atheist.
That dude disappeared.
He sure did.
And Foxy kept saying, no, they said that he died in Arizona. So I pulled up the episode when Florida came back to Chicago from Arizona. She said, Michael, look in my pocketbook. Me and Carl got you this book. And he read and Michael read the title and he said, thank you, Ma. Folks, that was the last thing we've ever heard of Carl.
Yeah, because they went on Judy Winslow.
He died. We hear he just stayed in Arizona.
I mean, hey,
they do it all the time.
When the storyline ain't working, you switch it up.
Judy Winslow, Chuck Cunningham. I mean, they just go out someplace. You like, where they go? Where they go?
Dark Viv, Light Viv.
There's only one Dark Viv. There's only one Viv.
Dark Viv, White Viv.
Aunt Viv on Fresh Prince. They just switched out. Didn't say nothing.
Dark skin Viv. Oh, yeah.
No, wait a minute, Viv. They actually did say something. They
did because
they made a joke about it
Jazz
at one point.
Like, something you look different or something like that. It's like Family
just
Matters
did
like
that when
though.
He did with the little kid when one season he's still a baby, then the next season he walking around and Jazz was like,
"You grew up, didn't you?"
Yeah, baby Nikki grew up quick, didn't he?
And that baby was in one of Will Smith's movies. That's how he got casted. He was in either Independence Day or what was the movie Will Smith did with Vivica Fox?
Independence Day.
Oh yeah, that was it.
I looked that up. So he was the son because I remember Vivian A. Fox. By the way, woo Lord, you was fine as hell. That was my crushes.
I tell you, man, how are you just gonna get so locked in on how someone just looks? That's just.
I know that's objectifying women like that.
Just objectifying women like that. That's just.
You're absolutely right, Mariah.
It's just horrible.
No J-Lo.
J-Lo, Mariah, whatever weakness is.
Janet, the lady with the gap in her teeth. I mean,
the random lady who's on the video, and
Boy, I find over men like y'all do women, y'all be like, "What's wrong with Tracy? She up there telling me."
I never said anything. You can say that all you want. Objectify them all you want to. I'm not gonna be able to join in, but yeah, you want to talk about. He's got nice kneecaps. I'm like, that's your thing.
Vivica A. Fox in her earlier movies was fine AF because
Vivica's still fine. She just the problem with Vivica is she ain't never learned how to act.
That ship has failed. What?
Huh? She never learned how to act. That woman never learned how to act.
She's not a bad actor.
You know who acts better than her? And this is really sad to say. You know who acts better than her? The lady who married Dwayne Wade. What's her name? Gabrielle Union. And you know she can't act.
Gabrielle, okay. I'm going to go ahead and end the show by saying this real quick so I can get on out here. I was Gabrielle Union for the longest time next to Jennifer Hudson. Jennifer Hudson was number one. Gabrielle Union was number two. Was my wee.
Jennifer Hudson?
Kelly Rowland, bro. Kelly Rowland. I'm just saying.
Wait a minute. Jennifer Hudson.
Yes.
She's big Jen or little Jen?
Yeah, I was gonna say big Jen.
It was something about her attitude, her smile.
She oversing. I mean, she just looked.
No, she's got a great voice.
No, she's not better than Fantasia.
No, Fantasia has a certain sound. This is different. They're different.
Whoa.
They're just different.
Jennifer Hudson is not a better.
Jennifer Hudson has much more range than Fantasia. Much more range.
Nope.
Absolutely. Jennifer
Because
Hudson.
Fantasia has that lounge singing kind of voice.
Fantasia is more churchy to me. That's why I think
And
I
that's
like
the
her
reason
better.
why you picked her then.
I just said that's why I picked her.
That sucks, dude. That's
Because
horrible.
Jennifer Hudson, she do too much. Her and Patti LaBelle, oh, they drive me
No,
crazy.
the one who oversings, queen of oversinging, Beyonce.
Thank you. Oh, I thought I was the only one that thought that.
She that one in the choir that you can hear over everybody else in the choir.
Girl, shut up.
Okay, you know what?
She gonna hold that note.
I'm gonna go ahead and disagree on exactly what Tracy said, and then went to Beyonce. No, Patti LaBelle is the most over singing woman.
She can't sing. I'm like, girl, stop all of that. You do
No,
too
stop
much.
insulting Patty.
There have
Stop
been
insulting
so
Patty. That's not okay.
Patti LaBelle and went, you know what, Patty? That is a straight line, honey. Why have you
Skipping
like
all around? I want vocal
20,
gymnastics. She ain't got to do all that.
30 notes before you got to the
Hey, girl, shut up.
Y'all better leave Patty. Leave Patty
No,
alone.
she should just cook stuff. And she still sings. Oh, Marlon, you right about that. Oh my gosh, you were so right about that. She do too much. She on
I'm
TV.
sorry, folks. The video is going off the rails. This is what happens when they get tired. They start saying stuff that don't make sense.
She can't sing. She cannot sing. Marlon, we still can't hear you.
Really?
We couldn't hear you the first few seconds. You know you gotta wait a few seconds.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, tell everybody where they can find you.
Hey, for now, just check me out around here, man. Every time I get ready to try to drop a new video, I'd be like, I don't like that one, and I hit delete.
Tracy.
When I'm not turning down Patti LaBelle songs, you can find me at TracyMediaLLC.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, non-conforming individuals, that is our show for tonight. I appreciate this. I appreciate Tracy. I appreciate Anna. I hope that it's feeling better. And until next time, we will see you when we see you. Peace.
Where is the little bitty choir?
Man, Christie dropped out, man.
You should have known he was gonna drop out 2%. He knew he wasn't gonna win.
That man was doing it just to get under